from Mansour Delane and Peter Woods. So we'll see what direction. I'm guessing there'll be some more offensive players today.
You think so?
You would think, but who knows?
Maybe Mahomes, but probably not. Next time we'll probably hear from him is game week would be my guess, if they get into that, but we'll keep an eye on that as well. Hopefully hear from EB, hopefully hear from Spags as well.
And you mentioned Mahomes and when we'll hear from him. What about when we'll see him throw a football in a game again? Because they got a preseason game Friday night, and I don't think any of us, right, are expecting him to play Friday. Do you want him to play Friday? I don't.
So they haven't said for sure he's not playing. Andy will announce that tomorrow will be his version of a Friday press availability, because they, of course, play on Friday to wrap up their preseason schedule at home at Arrowhead. I don't want him. I don't even like that they keep putting him in uniform.
Oh, well, that doesn't matter.
Like, just put him in shorts and a T-shirt. I don't even want the temptation to accidentally make him available for a game, you know? I don't even want you to, like, remember, oh, yeah, I haven't seen him throw yet, and he's in uniform. I don't want it to remind you of it. I understand, like, they're not going to play him in those first 2 preseason games. I don't even want him looking like he's ready to play football, so Andy gets tempted by Friday. Here's the thing. Mahomes really wants to play. He's a difficult player to be able to say no to. Andy, historically, would like Patrick Mahomes to play. So I still, in my head, think there's like a 10% chance that he will. But the reason why I think he won't, and that there's a very strong percentage chance he won't, is because they haven't even cleared the guy to play. And he won't even answer if he's technically cleared to play. And they're still almost 3 weeks away from the first game of the season.
And that's why we go back to our conversation we had with Aaron Borgman, the first or second week of training camp, former NFL trainer. And he said, look, there's a difference between he's cleared to practice and does that mean he's cleared to play in a game? Now, we all expect, nobody's suggesting that he's not going to play week 1. That's not what we're saying. But I think you're right, Cody. There is a difference between cleared to practice. He obviously has been for weeks, if not a month now, but to play in a game. And so, yeah, Andy didn't fully want to answer the question yesterday. He's going to play week 1, but my guess is they haven't maybe fully cleared him to play in a football game. That's another reason why Andy, who typically would play the vets more than he has and play Mahomes, has chosen not to. But I'm fine. If that's what's needed to prevent them from being tempted to play, I don't need to see him in the preseason. I really don't. And I know some people are worried about, we were talking with Drew, Rust. And look, maybe he will be a little, maybe the first throw, we're going to say, man, that was a little rusty or whatever. The first time he has to scramble.
He's had a couple in training camp.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. But I'd rather have that than risk a drive in the preseason for what? For what?
Exactly. Let's say he goes 1 for 4 and, 7 yards and they punt. Or he goes 9 of 10 on a 14-play drive and they score a touchdown. Either way, and I can't point this out, we have far overvalued that number of live snaps for a guy like Mahomes. He's been in the league long enough that I don't think 90% speed preseason snaps are the thing that's going to just put it all right. And that's why he does it. Honestly, if he didn't play another preseason game for the rest of his career, I'd be fine. But certainly for this season, coming off the injury, he hasn't taken a hit in 9 months. And I get the temptation of, do you want the first hit for him to ever take to be against the Denver Broncos in week 1? Nah, just like Karlaftis, smack him once 14 days from now.
Okay.
The Wednesday practice, the game week. Let him take one pop from somebody just to know what it feels like. I don't care. It doesn't have to be from the Denver Broncos, but it certainly doesn't have to be this weekend. And the other big part of it is Trey Smith probably won't play. Josh Simmons definitely won't play.
Right.
So now I'm going to put him out there for a preseason game with Khalil Benson at right tackle, Jalen Moore at left tackle. I think
you
a backup guard. No, thank you.
I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it right there. That's the other part. It's a great point. It's not just whether or not you think he needs it or not, but yeah, you're going to put him out there with an offensive line that is not near full strength. That's a great point.
Better be max protect on every single snap.
Even more reason. No, I'm with you. So I know we all want to see him play, but it's just we can wait till Monday night against Denver, guys. We can wait till Monday night. It's going to be all right.
Yeah, and it stinks. I get it. Got to wait 19 or 20 days or whatever the hell it is to get to their actual opening game. I get it.
20 days from today, I think.
But has Pat ever not played in the preseason?
No. Yeah, he's
played in every single preseason.
He's always played.
Okay.
He's played in multiple games in every single preseason. How about that, Drew?
See, that's where the rust factor play. I know that it's different for every quarterback. We've had the discussion before, but that's where it's different for me. Pat has never gone a preseason without playing multiple games, and you're telling me he's going to play 0. I think that there's you're not necessarily playing with fire, obviously, because he's injured, but I think that is a conversation maybe worth having is could we see a lesser version of Patrick Mahomes where they end up dropping that game and they're 0-1, but they're also 0-1 in the division, and you're already starting on your heels in a way.
Oh, I mean, definitely could lose the opener.
They could lose it if he plays, though.
That's in play. Denver's a very good team. It's going to be a tough game in week 1 no matter what. I think Andy Reid, we all know what you were saying about how many times he played. I think we all know Andy's preference would be to play Mahomes at some point in the preseason. I think we've seen just enough of a track record. Mm-hmm. He's being held back because of the injury, and whether or not he truly has been cleared to play in a game. Now, I disagree with somebody texting in that says, "I'm telling you once again, Mahomes isn't playing week 1." I disagree with that. Legitimately,
I take that bet.
Legitimately, I would take the bet, but truly, other than just your gut, what makes you think he's not playing? I would love to truly know. An honest question. What would make you actually think he's not playing after everything we've seen? All the reporting, whether it's locally, whether it's from national reporters, we've been up there for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I guess it was. What would you say that you saw or heard would make you think he's not playing week 1? There's been nothing to suggest that's happening. You're just completely throwing out randomness.
Other than if you the Chiefs' history of just lying about injuries. I mean, or I don't know if lying is the right word I would use, but intentionally deceiving or not disclosing. A lie of omission, perhaps?
No, I will still
That'd
say
be the only reason.
And I'll still say, and I think we don't have to get back into it. I think we had the discussion with Drew. I think Drew and I disagreed on it three months ago. I don't think when he plays week 1 against the Broncos that he is 100% Patrick Mahomes doing everything he's always done in his career. I don't think we're seeing that for a bit, but he's going to play week 1 against the Denver Broncos. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that to me is not even a discussion anymore.
Somebody on the text line asked really 2 questions, like what does he normally do in week 1? And is Bo Nix playing any preseason snaps? Well, in their second preseason game, Bo Nix did play in the preseason. Here's the thing, though. If Patrick Mahomes had the injury Bo Nix had played, he would be playing in this preseason. He had a much more severe injury with a longer recovery time. And so that part of it doesn't actually surprise me. Now, I'll give Drew this in the sense that, and I don't know if it's word for word, Patrick Mahomes historically in week 1 is incredible. He averages 289 yards a game, averages 2.8 touchdowns in those starts, and 0.3 interceptions, and a 118 passer rating. He rules in week 1, okay?
I mean, he
is awesome, but he's also awesome normally. So
I would just say in September in general, the Chiefs historically under Andy Reid and Mahomes have been very good.
Yes.
They're what are they, 20? Yeah, they're 20.
They didn't lose the September game for a long time.
They're 21-6 in Mahomes' career in the month of September with a 109 passer rating, 7,700 yards, 69 touchdowns, 12 interceptions across 27 games in September. So he plays great in September historically.
And what Drew is saying is, hey, maybe some of that is because they actually play some of their guys in the preseason.
Who knows?
And what I would say is, I think while that might be playing some percentage in this, and I'd be kind of foolish, we got enough sample size to say that it's playing no factor. I think it also just comes to it's like the Andy Reid off a bye week. He is better at preparing for teams than almost any other coach in the NFL. And so given an entire offseason to make a game plan for 4 weeks against these teams, he just comes in with a hotter hand. Mahomes is better. The defenses are slower. People aren't thinking as fast. They don't know all the things you're going to do. And so historically, I think Mahomes is probably just taking advantage of a situation where they don't have all the answers yet or know what they are yet. And that's why he's taking advantage of it more than it is I don't know how many total preseason throws he even made last year. Do you think it was 12, 13, 19, 20? I mean, it couldn't have been that many, right? He usually plays 1 series in the first preseason game and 2 in the second.
He was last year, the preseason, when they played the Bears, he was 8 of 13, a $143 and a touchdown. That was his final preseason game he played in.
Okay, so he probably threw 20 preseason passes. It's like, is that the reason to do it? Somebody says they're done hearing about Andy after a bye week. Last couple of years, it hasn't been nearly as good. But
I wasn't talking about Andy off the bye week.
I mentioned it going into the season.
September, their track record's great.
Yeah, I think that those things are somewhat related. As I just think if you give Andy Reid time, he is historically better at preparing for things than a lot of other ones. Again, maybe the last couple of years have put you off to that plan, but that would just go back to you must think Andy Reid is slipping. And again, somebody can make that argument and say, I'm worried about that getting ready to occur. And I don't think that that's the case, but I also don't think that that's a dumb stance.
Isn't that what happened in Philly? Where
but he obviously hadn't lost his fastball in Philly. Let's admit that because he came here and went to 5 Super Bowls and won 3.
Yeah, but I did it's almost like the clock had run its time where he was great and then out of nowhere he wasn't, and there was really nothing that It just happened out of nowhere. Where in a way, I know that they had the injury a lot last year, but they were on pace to miss the playoffs the year after going to the Super Bowl. So it's almost like they were great for all this time, and then boom, out of nowhere, bad season. I wonder if it follows up. If it does follow up with another bad season, then we're looking at almost a carbon copy of what happened in Philly.
I want to say the biggest difference that I think you're ignoring, like, it just happened. It didn't just happen. The last 2 years in Phillies, he was starting for the Eagles, in Philly. He was starting Kevin Kolb, Nick Foles, Michael Vick out of prison. I mean, Drew, it wasn't like he didn't just still. McNabb had definitely fallen off a cliff the second to last year, and that's why they traded him to Washington. They still have Patrick Mahomes. And so, like, that part of it just makes me think, like, that's not the same. His final year in Philly when they had 4-12, Vic started 10 games, Foles started 6, and Trent Edwards saw some action. And so, like, that's why they were bad. There were other reasons, but, the quarterback play took a noticeable dip in Philly the last couple of years, and then they weren't as good. They didn't have prime Donovan McNabb anymore, which is not a superstar, but certainly a good quarterback who was capable of getting them a
So
lot
if they
of
miss
places.
again, then it's actually way worse than it was in Philly then, and he got fired from that. So I think
Absolutely.
Which is why if they miss the playoffs this year, there will be a real conversation about this entire organization moving into 2027. Absolutely.
Talk about coaching. Like somebody said on the text line, I'm sick of hearing about the Andy Reid after a bye week. I think I had fallen into the trap a little bit of just trusting Andy Reid in something that maybe we shouldn't have been trusting this entire time. For the longest time, the statement has essentially been, Dave Tobe is great at special teams. He's respected around the league. People think he's a genius at this job. And you start digging into the stats that Price Carter put out yesterday. He was on the drive yesterday.
Yeah.
You start realizing maybe that's not the case.
It's crazy. We all know special teams has been bad just without even having to dive into any numbers. Everybody would agree it has not been effective over the last couple of years. And then, as you said, Price Carter put out a tweet. The last time every team had a special teams touchdown. Okay. Now, some of these teams, you can look at average return yards and say, hey, they didn't have a touchdown, but maybe they were a good return unit. They just didn't have touchdowns. Okay, well, only one team had a special teams touchdown last year. That was the Seattle Seahawks. I believe it was Rashid Shaheed. After they traded for him, I think he returned one or something, if I'm not mistaken.
So not a ton.
So that was the only team last year. You had the Bills and Bears, Bengals, Cowboys, Broncos, Lions, Jags, and like 8 other teams that had a score from special teams in 2025. You had a group about 7 teams in 2024. You had a group of another couple in 2023. The Vikings had one all the way back in 2022. If you notice, I haven't brought up the Chiefs yet. That's because the Chiefs have not had a touchdown from their special teams unit since 2020. Yes, the COVID season. The Raiders are the only team worse on special teams in terms of touchdowns. And it's not everything. There are other elements to this. But we all know they've also struggled in other areas.
Like penalties.
The Chiefs are the second worst on this list. Only the Raiders have waited longer for a special teams touchdown. The Raiders' last special teams touchdown is 2018.
So he put out, to go with it, the DVOA rankings, which is a efficiency metric that we've talked about on the show for offense and defense. You don't need to dig into it any further than that. 2022, they ranked 19th. 2023, they were 6th. 12th 2 years ago, and 19th last year. They have been bad. Or how about this? They've been league average for the last 4 years in special teams. You should, as the Kansas City Chiefs vying for Super Bowls every year, be striving for a whole hell of a lot more than league average. And before you're like, well, all he has is Nico Remigio. Every kick returner on every team is just some dude you've never heard of named Nico Remigio. That's all of them. That's every special teams player, whether it be the gunner or this. They have not ranked as bad as special team penalties as you would think. They were only 7th in total ones last year, although in yardage they were much worse. They were 9th in 2024, 28th in 2023, and 5th in 2022. They do not have a good track record. They don't get touchdowns. They rank average in DVOA. They rank average in penalties. And they seemingly are backbreaking penalties at the worst conceivable time. They, in average field position last year, as the text I was pointing out, if you look it up, it's right, were dead last. Now, some of that is because the defense wasn't quite as good and was pinning them in some spots. But some of that is just because the special teams couldn't create any kind of field position off of kick and punt returns the entire season. What exactly is Dave Tobe doing around here? I got to say, we have another year of this. He's got to be the first person you run out of town. Drew, you mentioned the coach or some of these other things. This is like the hitting coach or some of the other stuff. I understand that you could do worse than Dave Tobe, but the track record is the track record of the last 3 or 4 years. It feels like the last couple of years of Sutton, where Bob Sutton, to be clear, was not a bad defensive coordinator his entire time in Kansas City. Dave Toub has not been a bad special teams coordinator his entire time in Kansas City. Matter of fact, those first 5 years, they ruled. Tyreek Hill was returning stuff. They were scoring touchdowns. They were getting kick return, punt returns. Things were working. It was all humming along. But we now got 3 straight years of subpar performance. At some point, your history of being good earlier in it shouldn't count, Cole. That's all. I just wouldn't. I mean, I assume you think.
Is the loyalty too strong to him?
Of course.
That's Andy's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but when we talk about the entire thing with Andy Reid, I think isn't this a part of the equation as well, where it's not just Andy's performance necessarily, it's you're keeping around somebody that I understand you might be friends with him and all that other stuff, and it's tough to move on. But if it's affecting something that in some way, shape, and form is impacting your ability to win football games, as much as he cares about winning football games, why is it something he has just dealt with?
Yeah, no, there's no doubt.
Few years.
Dave Toub should have been replaced after this past season. I don't know many people that disagree with that, other than obviously Andy Reid. But
I've been fine with it.
I think it should have been a move they made the offseason. And the special teams unit better be significantly better, or it's going to cost them football games again in 2026.
Andy's got a pretty long history of waiting, I would say 1 year too long to make a move at coach. And a lot of that is Dave Toub does have a really good history as a special teams coordinator in the NFL. I can't deny that. But in the NFL, if it's been 3 years since the last time your unit performed, that's it. 3 years? I mean, I don't care if it's all, if Spags, who I think has an argument for greatest defensive coordinator in the history of the NFL.
If there was ever a coordinator to make the Hall of Fame, he would have the best shot.
If they go 3 straight years of them with the 19th, 15th, and 21st ranked defense, I'm going to want him out. I'll probably want him out after 2 of those that we just mentioned. But after 3, that'd be done. That'd be all she wrote. You don't get 3 years of just being bad in the NFL. I understand sometimes we've talked about how teams maybe move too quick or don't let a plan come to fruition. I mean, we're talking 4 years now of subpar DVOA, subpar penalties. I don't know why this is a surprise.
Well, and the best way that you can look at it, at least to me, is if you were to, if Andy somehow has blinders into this, as much as you love Pat, Andy, as much as you love Patrick Mahomes, the result of what's happening on special teams, for all the reasons that you guys brought up, you are hurting our quarterback's ability to go and make plays by having the penalties. You're setting the offense back. You're setting back your quarterback and your offense by the penalties, by the lack of ability to get a good return, by everything, every metric that has come out about the special teams core. I think beyond just they're struggling, but we're still able to win. You're hurting your quarterback and making it harder for him when you should be making it easier for him to win those football games and also to just go out there and do his thing.
I agree. I mean, it's weird because and somebody said it took too long with Bob Sutton, but it was really just the last 2 years of Bob Sutton where he was bad. The first 3 years he had a top 5 defense. So he had back-to-back bad years and then held on to him. The difference is Toub's also the assistant head coach and everything else. So maybe just adds a complication to it. Spags has also been awesome. So since they made that shift, it's been great.
Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll talk some Royals baseball with J.J. Piccolo, Royals general manager, president of baseball operations. But we saw some news this morning on the college front. Over the last few days, one of the big stories has been this NFL college pipeline, I guess, in reverse that is happening now, where you can play in the NFL and go back to college. Of course, with the Cleveland Browns tight end going back to LSU, that has prompted a lot of discussion. In this morning, I'm glad to see that some of these conferences have come forward. First, the Big Ten, to say, hey, we're going to self-police this, actually. We're going to create a rule that if you're a Big Ten member school, you cannot bring back a player returning from the NFL to play for a Big Ten school. Any player who was declared for the draft and did not withdraw and appeared on an NFL roster or signed a contract with a pro league, any pro league, will not be eligible to join a Big Ten roster. Since then, the Big 12 reportedly is looking to pass something similar. So are the Group of 5 schools. So is the ACC. We're all waiting on the SEC. And, of course, the SEC is not going to do it right now because LSU just is the one actually utilizing said rule. But it would be interesting to see how the SEC follows. Props to the Big Ten for leading the charge on this one. Now, it is kind of weird. It's like, the member institutions, if they really want to police themselves, right, they can. All the other rules, we got to rely on the court system, and you go and find a judge that's favorable for you. But this is one rule that at least even the conferences can get behind, at least majority of the conferences can get behind, and recognize how, just say it out loud, Tess, right? How dumb is the idea of a player signing an NFL contract or getting drafted going back to college? I mean, it should not happen.
Yeah, and the fact that some of these other conferences are already reportedly considering it, if I were any group of 5, or group of 6, I'm immediately signing on board, right? And just saying, yeah, we'll do the same thing. Because right now, and this is just a general thing, and I know the SEC doesn't like it, I think the SEC is kind of against any rule that the Big Ten suggests. They don't want to make it seem like they're leading the charge in the way we're doing things. Like, whoa. You're going to police the way we want to do things? We'll handle the SEC, thanks.
Yeah.
We'll punish them under our old rule, which is you can't go from one SEC school to another, or whatever thing that's nonsense with it. They should all just do this. Then you police it. The NFL doesn't have to get involved. The court system doesn't have to get involved unless there's a kid who wants to sue the Big Ten that somehow this violates his rights. And then who the hell knows? And that's the one thing I'll say. The Big Ten can put this rule in here, but it doesn't stop some other person from suing a different entity and finding a different favorable judge to do the same thing.
The only difference with this is if all those schools know it's against the Big Ten schools say, we don't want you.
And we'll find you $300,000.
A judge can't force the school to bring a guy onto their roster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's accurate.
So that's the difference here. They can't force Ohio State to sign this player that was in the NFL or whatever. So that it's easier to avoid, I think, the judges on that versus all the cases that have led to all this discussion has been because a school is actively trying to get a player eligible.
I think the SEC wants to do it, but they're not going about it the same way. So last night they put out a statement, said, talked about individuals who choose to leave college, sign professional contracts, and compete professionally should not be permitted to return to college. Like, they put the statement out yesterday. So the SEC does believe the same thing. They're just not going to the length of what the rest of the schools are doing. They said allowing that will occur to blur the lines. College sports are for college athletes. The current confusion emphasizes the need to advance the Protect College Sports Act, which I think ultimately is probably the solution to this issue. But the SEC wants to have the issue resolved. It's just that they haven't taken the step forward, I suppose, the way that the Big Ten has, the ACC and the others have. So
I am convinced it's because it's the Big Ten who said it.
Well, we know they don't like not being in charge anymore, the SEC. They don't run the show anymore the way they did 5 years ago.
But nobody should run the show. Nobody should run the show. And that's why you protect, that's why you get rid of, that's why you do the Protect College Sports Act, and nobody runs the show anymore.
Yeah, well,
it's better for the sport that way. And I think that you just take your lumps and you make less money as a conference if you're the Big Ten and the SEC, and you just deal with it, because the things that continue to come up, it feels like every week now, are just signs, again, pointing to the need for the legislation in some way, shape, or form.
I'm with you that we need it. I mean, it's definitely better than the system we have. As you know, though, this thing has been dragged through Congress and taken forever like anything else. And
shout out to the NCAA president, Charlie Baker, who said that this would happen.
Of course. Well, he's a former politician.
Exactly.
He's a former governor.
We want to use the government to help us. Yeah, great.
Yeah. I mean, it's taking forever, and politics have gotten involved, and they're hijacking this issue they're leveraging this bill to help another bill. This happens all the time. And in this case, we're talking about a bill involving sports, but this happens all the time, where they know a bill that even if it's bipartisan, that they want to get passed through, they'll hijack it and to try to leverage it for something else. So, and that's what's happening. That's why we don't have the Protect College Sports Act yet.
No, there's too many things at play, and you got to get this. And my whole thing with that is still my same complaint, which is I kind of feel like you're not talking to the college football players, who are the ones who keep suing you anyway. You might want to actually figure out a way to give them a voice in all of this. But it's been able to operate a completely different level. But this is a good first step. I don't want to make it seem like this is a good idea by the conferences, at least as a way of self-policing in the meantime, just as long as you can get everybody on board. Otherwise, you just get one conference who runs rogue with it, and it's completely different.
I just locked in a bet with a listener because going back, he said, if you're so confident Mahomes is playing week 1, let's make a bet. And I said, normally we don't make bets with a listener, with no disrespect, but you guys know where to find us. We've made bets with listeners, and some of you just vanish, and we never. Yeah. It's basically like you guys can't lose the bet because you're never going to pay it out.
Hold us accountable.
So I said, give me your first and last name and your phone number. Let's do this. So I've got it, G.Brewer, and I got your phone number. I screenshot and everything. If Mahomes does not play week 1, I will Venmo you $100. If not, you have to send me $100.
Ooh.
We're in. We're locked in. I feel pretty confident in the bet. We'll see.
I mean, you should feel confident in the bet.
You guys want to join in?
No.
I mean, I would have taken
playing week 1.
Yeah,
I think he is too.
Maybe Brewer will bet you too. Maybe he'll make another bet. He's confident as much as I'm confident. He's confident on his.
He does seem confident.
I'm good.
He's willing to
Drew says he's good. Okay. All right, up next, let's talk some baseball with the general manager of the Royals, JJ Picollo. Let's ask him about this 8-game winning streak and what is changed during the winning streak.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
At the 40, the 30, 20, 10, he's going to take it to the house. Whether you're buying a home, a car, or making another major life purchase, Main Street Credit Union helps you reach your financial goals with cashback, high yield, and student spend accounts, and certified financial counseling. Real people, real progress. Join us at mainstreetcu.org.
Hi, I'm Danny Gravatt. For over 65 years, my family has kept Kansas City comfortable. At Ready Services, we guarantee expert service in HVAC, honest repairs, never high-pressure sales, get the job done right the first time without the headaches. Visit ReadyServices.com today.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
For 75 years, Kansas City families have trusted Anthony for comfort, safety, and dependable service. Thank you for trusting us with your house keys. Anthony, in your home for 75 years.
You already know that every Royals game is right here on 96.5 The Fan. But if you're looking for more Royals coverage, tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Fernier throughout the week. He joins Fesco and Dusty every Monday morning at 8:20. Cody and Gold every Wednesday at 12:30. And he joins The Drive every Friday at 3. Miss anything? Check it out on the show podcast or All Things Fern Channel, wherever you get your podcasts. This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We're going to be joined by JJ Picollo in just a second. Coming up in a half hour, we'll talk more about some of the national narratives around Patrick Mahomes that are very interesting heading into the start of the season. We also, of course, a little bit later on, we'll talk about expectations and who could outperform those for the Chiefs here in a couple of weeks. But let's keep talking about the Royals. We talked about them yesterday. They were off. Now they get ready to begin a series in Toronto against the Blue Jays tonight. And we go out to the Golden Oak Lending phone line and welcome in the general manager and the president of baseball ops for the Royals, JJ Piccolo. JJ, great to have you on the show. 8-game winning streak for you guys, playing some really good baseball right now. Just simply put, what do you think has changed during this winning streak for you guys?
I think for the most part, I mean, we got a lineup together that resembles more of what our opening day lineup looked like. So I think that's part of it. And then, of course, we lost Mike Kell not long after that. But the biggest difference, I think, is clearly the bullpen. You know, we've got some leads late in the game that we're able to hold on to and finish the game off, a couple tight ones. And it's been good to see some new faces respond in positive ways. And it's something to build on. So it's a nice 8-game streak, and hopefully we can keep it going.
I'm sure you guys have run the numbers on some of this too. Like if you go back, and I understand you understand some of the pitfalls that happened this season, but could it be as simple as if the bullpen had just been closer to what maybe the career numbers for some of these guys had suggest, or you just had made different decisions in that department, that could have put you in the position to be in a playoff, certainly in the hunt, right, JJ? If certainly the bullpen had just been better.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I mean, we have to click on all cylinders. It's got to be, the offense, the defense, the pitching, both starting and relieving. And, we weren't getting it done early. And then the performance and the injuries just kind of came together. And it was kind of an avalanche of tough things happening. But, I mean, you go back to the early season optimism. I mean, that's the reason there was optimism. We thought we had a good rotation. We thought we had a bullpen that we could count on and a lineup that was going to score some runs. And, clearly that hasn't happened and didn't happen often early in the season. So, yeah, you can point to that and some other things as well.
I think we were talking a little bit about Q as it relates to this. How much does it matter to you? You've been around, good teams, bad teams. You've been around baseball a long time. You know when a team can give up or just give up on a manager or just feel like it's not going anywhere. A streak like this tell you anything about the team or post All-Star break, their ability to keep fighting for the same guy?
Yeah, no, I think that's really important. I mean, we went through a similar thing a couple of years ago, and, that was the message that Q delivered to the team, and we played fairly well in August and September of that year. And, we're still playing for, every one of these games means something to us. I mean, these are guys' careers. They don't go into a game thinking about what the team record is. They go into a game thinking about how do I beat that pitcher, or if they're a pitcher, how do I beat their lineup? So the preparation's the same. Obviously morale can take a hit, so it takes a little bit of extra work on our staff's part to be positive and keep reminding them that, hey, we're playing for something. Regardless of what the record is, we're playing for something. Tonight's game is really important. Once you get done tonight, you move on to the next game, and tomorrow night's game is really important. So I think the staff has done a good job. I think the players have done a good job. As tough as this year has been, not one time that I walked through that clubhouse feeling like, man, this group is defeated. You don't get that feeling from our guys. And when you go on a little streak like this, I think it's evidence that indeed is the case.
When you're talking with JJ Piccolo here on 96.5 The Fan, when you look at the American League this year, and I know we've had you on throughout the entire season, we've talked about some of the decisions, some of the injuries throughout the entire year, but when you look at the standings right now and you see where the AL is at, does that add any more of the frustration to a season when you see that the AL was down this year and that the win total to get in the dance this year, it doesn't look like it's going to be as high as it typically is?
Yeah, no, it definitely is more frustrating. You still want to be a good team. You still want to win 90 games. And, what this year has given teams is a little bit of grace. You might not win 90, but you're going to be in the playoffs. So to have a year like we're going through this year, it does add a little bit of frustration to it. But, I think in the end, our frustration is more about, what could we have done differently this year? How do we get better prepared for next season? And we got to focus on that, because even if you're a 500 team that makes the playoffs, you're not a championship caliber team just yet. And the goal is to be a championship caliber team. And we still got some work to do to get to that point.
JJ, I want to ask you about a guy who's been white hot, I think, since the last time we spoke to you. That's Noah Cameron, who over his last 6 starts has a 105 earned run average. He started calling his own pitches, of course, is when seemingly it all turned around. Are you guys thinking about the ceiling with him differently than you have before? Are you looking at him differently? as far as maybe where he belongs in the rotation in the future? I guess just how are you viewing this run from Noah Cameron?
Well, I think it's just security that he is a major league pitcher. There was a stretch in there where he was struggling some, and guys can waver. And what Noah did was the bend but don't break attitude. I mean, he didn't break. He kept going. He made some adjustments. The big one was calling his own game. He felt comfortable enough at this point in his career that he wanted it all to fall on his shoulders. I don't want to, go with somebody else's opinion. I trust myself. And he's taken it to another level. So I think just the security that we have somebody that we can count on in our rotation for the future is great for us, because young starting pitching is hard to come by. And when you get a guy now who will go into his third year with the track record that he's got, that's a great thing for us. And Noah deserves a lot of credit to not break this year and to keep pushing and actually improve. So it's great to see.
Were there other things besides calling his own pitches you think helped turn it around for him?
Oh, it's command. I mean, it's the big thing for any starting pitcher. But for Noah during that stretch, his pitch counts were getting entirely too high. He struggled to get through 5 innings. It was 100 pitches through 5 innings. That's command. So I think with taking on the accountability of calling pitches, there might be a little more conviction in what he's throwing and a little more purpose, and that maybe helped his command. I'm being a kind of a junior psychologist there, but I think there is something to that. But the command has been really what's let's look at the complete game there on the West Coast. I mean, he goes complete game on 115 pitches. He was throwing over 100 pitches to get through 5 innings. That's a significant difference in what he was doing earlier this year. So credit goes to him. He did a good job in getting himself prepared and to go on this nice run, which is great to see.
We're talking to JJ Piccolo here on 96.5 The Fan. Something that we've discussed over the last couple weeks and month or so, and I think fans have wondered, is looking at Jack Caglione when he plays right field, when he plays first base, and some of the numbers. Is there a correlation to, is he playing freer when he's at first? Is it just a coincidence that he's also just improved as a hitter? I know we're talking small sample sizes, but I'm sure you guys are well aware of the different numbers at the plate when he's playing first compared to the outfield.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Small sample size. I mean, he does like playing first base, but he's adapted to right field really, really well. So I really think it's more coincidence than anything. Maybe if that trend holds up over a number of years, there's something to it. But right now, I think it's just coincidence. And plus, he's just developing as a hitter. He's getting better. With every at-bat, every night that goes by, he's that much better. So, he's playing first base more the latter part of his career. As short as it's been the latter part of his career. And that experience, I think, is evident in the at-bats that he's taken now. He just happens to be playing first base here while Vinny was out.
When you look at, I guess, the lineup as a whole with Vinny in there, like let's say go back to when Michael Garcia before he had head back to the injured list. How close do you think that lineup was to 2027's opening day lineup? Let's say a righty's on the mound, Carter Jensen in the leadoff spot, Cags hitting third, Vinny fifth. Like, how close do you think that those players are the guys you run with next season?
Yeah, I think they're young, controllable, good players. I mean, that's what a team like us needs to have, and the fact that we have really 7 or 8 guys that are not approaching free agency that we think very highly of is a good thing for us. How the lineup's constructed, that's always an evolving thing.
Sure.
But at least as we said here today against righties, yeah, you may see exactly what you're seeing now. Against lefties, you may see it flipped up a little bit. But, it's a good core. The 4 guys we talked about going into the year with Cags and Jensen, sort of the unknowns of how they were going to respond. Michael Massey's bounced back and had a great year. Nick Lofton's done really well. So when you add all those things together, it's a pretty good core. It's a really good nucleus. What we need to do is go out and be consistent and show that it's a good core. It's one thing to talk about it and look at it on paper and make projections, but bottom line is we got to go out and play well and win baseball games, and that's how you know that you have the right core. And hopefully we get to do that in 27.
Before we let you get out of here, I want to ask about a couple of the young guys in your system right now that I think we briefly mentioned or talked about in person to you, David Shields and, of course, Kendry Churio. Do you think there's any chance of a Double-A move before the end of the season for either of those guys, or you think that that's a next year decision?
I think it's more next year when it comes down to it. I mean, Churio's already made the jump, and This is late in the year. The last thing you need to do to a young pitcher is challenge them with another level when they've already met the challenge at the current level. We know where they're going to be to start the year next year, so I don't know what you really get out of a couple starts at the AA level. I think it's very different. When we used to have the expanded roster, the truly expanded rosters in September, to get major league starts, that's a little different than just jumping to another level in the minor league. So, really happy with what they're doing. The best thing we could do is put them in a position to go into the offseason 100% healthy. And look forward to what they do next year. Because once you get to the AA level, you're really, a phone call away from being in major leagues. And you don't want to put a lot on them as young players. But given their ages and where they're at already, it's exciting that they're going to be two young starters at the AA level, which, again, is very close to the major leagues. So it's exciting for our organization.
I'm assuming those are two of the youngest guys you'd have in AA if they both start their next season?
Yeah, they will be. They're two of the youngest guys in high A. I think the average age in high A is about 23 and a half years old. So, you look at their ages right now, they're significantly younger than their competition. So it makes it even better, more special what they're doing right now. And, just want them to finish strong.
JJ Piccolo, Royals General Manager, President of Baseball Ops, joining us here on 96.5 The Fan. Appreciate it.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
There you go. JJ Piccolo here on Cody and Gold. Royals in action tonight, taking on the Blue Jays. 6:07 first pitch here on 96.5 The Fan. Vern's on Deck show is at 5 p.m. Lugo versus Scherzer.
Okay.
Yeah, so Churio and Shields, you and I have been talking about, both of them for the last year or so.
Churio's 18, but rules in A ball.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable, and it's a big reason why they updated what was it, MLB Pipeline a couple weeks back. You saw where things are already shifting in with some of the top 100 lists that are out there from various publications. So you got the answer there, though. It sounds like if you want to see him in AA, we're talking about next season.
I think what's crazy is like, and there are organizations who just jump guys immediately. There are organizations that take guys. I mean, just a couple days ago, I think maybe the Padres took a guy from AA straight into the majors. The Royals have done it on occasion in their history, not nearly as much some other organizations, but it does happen every once in a while. JJ's not lying when he says once they're in AA,
you're close.
You're not that far. It's all the other systems it is to get through. And at 18 years old, for him to be like even.
And by the way, you were right though. It was the Mariners, not the Padres. Cade Anderson.
Okay,
he was. Cade Anderson, one of the top pitching prospect in baseball. He went from AA, who had he was 10-1 with a 1.06 ERA and 93 and a third inning pitch, Cody, and then they called him up to the Mariners this past weekend, and he pitched 5 2/3 of an inning, gave up 3 runs.
Like, I mean, I kind of get it. Like Kendrick Churio, he was in low A, he's moved to high A. In his last, so he got roughed up in his first start in high A ball. He gave up 5 runs. Since then, Gold, he has made 7 starts at high A. He has a 1.69 ERA. He has how many strikeouts? Because that's a stat that I just know for a fact. 30 strikeouts and 32 innings pitched. He's 18. He's like the youngest player in high A ball, or close to. I think he's the second youngest player in all of high A ball. He's going to start the year in AA, which means he might make his Royals debut at like 20. Which is crazy young for a major league player. Like, he might very well be in the bigs by 20. That's why I was just curious, if they were thinking, screw it. A-ball's not much of a challenge for the kid either. Just keep moving him up.
Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll talk more about the national narrative around Patrick Mahomes and what is ahead for him the rest of his career. You guys can always interact with us on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Don't forget, about an hour from now, we're expecting to hear from a couple Chiefs players. We do not know who the players are yet, but we will go out to Arrowhead. We'll obviously let you know who that is. Perhaps some players on the offensive side of the ball. As we said, we heard from Peter Woods yesterday in the 1 o'clock hour. The NFL today also revealed more of their rivalry uniforms. Nike's got to find a way to get people interested in buying new uniforms, and Nike, I'm sure, part of their contract, they're requiring teams to go with these rivalry uniforms. The Chiefs will be up here in a couple years. We were talking
next year, right?
I think so, maybe. 2027, I think that's right.
Yep.
Anyway, we saw the AFC South uniforms and the NFC North, I guess, today. What did you guys make of these? Because I'm looking at other angles. Some of them I'm cool with. I think some of them are hideous. Not as bad as the Buffalo Bills ones that we saw. And those, remember, were not the Nike rivalry. That was just the Bills doing a random alternate jersey.
They just decided to have some ugly jerseys this year for no reason.
Basically, yeah. Basically so. The one everybody's talking about is the Jags uniform. And at first glance, I said, okay, that's not too bad. The shot that the Jags just put out, Cody, with 5 of their players on the front, they look like Coastal Carolina. They look like a Coastal Carolina football team.
There's a couple that I really
what's
don't.
going on with the pants?
Yeah, that's probably
they're teal. That's their color.
No, but it's got like no. They're not the stripe on the side. I'm talking about like the actual. There's some design within the pants that they're trying to make it look like a Jaguar, but it looks terrible.
I think
with spots or
I
something.
like the helmet.
Yeah.
I like the helmet. I like the jersey. You are right. The pants.
What's going on there?
Maybe it's like you took it one step too far, but the rest of it, I don't mind. You're right. It looks a little bit like Coastal Carolina. I think the Colts one's no good. I think that one's one of the worst. I think the Texans helmet I really hate. So like I'd like that one to go away.
I don't think the Texans one's too bad.
I hate the helmet.
The Texans one's not too bad.
I also just think like
The Packers are the best ones, I think.
You think the Packers? And theirs just looks like it's from like 1930, which is not like a complaint. That one's okay. I'm worried. Like, I guess some of these are.
The choice doesn't look different at all. Like what do they even change?
Minnesota just slightly changed the color purple and added some like Nordic Celtic Viking stuff into the helmet.
It looks cool.
I wonder if makes me think that's what the Chiefs will do.
A little more minor.
We keep saying, is it going to be yellow? Is it going to be black? Is it going to be no? They'll still be red. It'll just be like a deeper, more maroon, or like a deeper. Like it'll be a different saturation color of red, and then they'll just put arrowhead. Like I don't know what else they can do, right?
I still am convinced they should do the all black.
Same, but I don't think they're going to do that.
I'd love that. I would love the matte black helmet, Drew. That's my dream. My dream is a matte black
Definitely
Chiefs
not the
helmet.
yellow.
No. I just want a matte black Chiefs helmet whenever they do this. That's all I'm asking for. Although I'm looking at all these rivalry uniforms, you notice, guys, none of them are matte helmets, right? Except maybe the Vikings, who already have a matte helmet. None of the other ones shifted. I think everybody else is the glossy helmet still.
Yeah.
Does anybody in the league have a matte helmet?
Say that again?
Does anybody in the league have a matte
Vikings,
helmet?
right? I think
they have a matte. They have a matte
They're
version.
the only ones.
A matte version, yeah.
They did like a metallic.
Who else? Seattle. Seattle has a matte version, maybe not all the time.
You wouldn't prefer like a metallic-y one, like the way the Colts did it for their one this year?
I don't know. That look good in red though.
Glittery, shiny. I don't know. Yeah, I think so. That's a pretty common.
Right now, they just have the standard gloss helmet, like everybody.
I just meant like a metallic-y.
A chrome helmet.
Like the face mask chrome. Is that what you're saying?
I mean like a chrome helmet.
Like Oregon thing.
Yeah.
Look at the Colts helmet from this one. And tell me you could do like a metallic red. The Colts helmet's the only part of the jersey that makes sense. I will say these blue collar cities, and this is not a knock. I'm from the Midwest. All the flyover jokes we get here in Kansas City. I'm saying that. Stop being like, we're blue collar, so gray and steel and metal. It doesn't look good. Stop doing it. Like, I know that you're trying to there's other ways to prove that we're iron workers. They're like Anvil, strong, and it was the nickel city. Stop it. It doesn't have to be metal. Metal's gray. It's a boring color. It can be other things that
Oregon has some
signify
sick gray uniforms. But yes.
That's because they put green all over them, though. Like the complement of the two colors is what makes that work.
I think the Texans look pretty much an all white uniform. It looks pretty slick. I actually think the Texans uniform
I think
is
it's
not
what
bad.
throw me off.
But that H, that H font that they have with the just giant H, that's very similar to like what Rice has, who's based out of their helmet, but it obviously doesn't have an H. It has an R or whatever. But I don't know. I don't think it's bad at all.
It makes me feel that that's a Houston thing, and I don't understand it. And the Chiefs are going to try to put
H-Town.
And the
H-Town is definitely a well-known thing.
And so help me. The one thing the Chiefs have to don't try to put a fountain on this. We have other things in this city. Do not put a fountain on whatever your rivalry jersey is. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, they're not City Connect jerseys. They're just rivalry jerseys. If it was the NBA,
but that's their version of the City Connect. They have all the it's the same thing Nike's doing. It's got all the stitching. You got to come up with a motto on the back of it. The whole thing.
Oh, the motto's fine. I mean, if they put the motto's fine. Like the Jags is Bold City. I don't know why, but they put that on the collar. That's fine. They're not putting, I don't know, something that represents Jacksonville actually on the jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. Houston ones, Jags is, I think, fine. Packers are fine.
I like the Jags.
Those.
The Bears uniforms just look like they're wearing the Illinois football uniforms. They look exactly like
the
the
something
Fighting
against
Illini.
college football because you mentioned two.
That's what we have to compare.
Separation of it's like church and state. He likes the idea of College football's for college football things. The NFL's for NFL things.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Go look at the Bears uniform and pull up a Fighting Illini uniform and tell me it's not the Illinois uniform.
It looks similar.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. It looks like they're wearing Illinois uniforms instead of Chicago Bears uniforms. That's all.
I think you do have to, you can't, if you're any team and you're going to choose one, if you're the Chiefs, you don't want to choose we're going to do a different red. Don't choose the Jayhawks color red. Or we're going to do, you know what I'm saying?
It's not that deep. If they want to pick the shade of red that's the same as Kansas, who's going to make a big deal about that?
Gold.
Honestly.
That's
crazy.
You just mentioned that about Illinois.
I mean, it'd be weird if the Chiefs' all new rivalry uniforms looked like KU football uniforms. I would make the same comment. I would say, "What are they doing?"
Yeah, but they're not the same color scheme, so that's not going to happen.
I know, but I was trying to give an example based on
what he just said. I'm saying that the Chicago Bears and the Fighting Illini uniforms look almost identical with these new ones.
Yeah, look, here's Illinois, here's the Bears. That's the same uniform.
It is. That's all. That's my only observation.
It looks like Illinois' uniform. Which feels weird because you're an NFL. It just feels like choose a different color orange, I guess, is part of it. But also, I'm not offended by theirs. Theirs just look like a standard alternate uniform. I still feel like if you're going to do these and they're a one-off and you're going to, and I view them as a one-off for now because they want these teams to do these new rivalry jerseys like the City Connects, once every 2, 3, 4 years so that they can continue to profit off of it. So if they're going to be one-offs that you just do on occasion, well then, or you got to change it once a year, well then, take a chance. I know it's a risk, but take a slight chance. Don't just make them our uniforms, but different orange. I want the Chiefs to go Matt Helmet with neon red outline.
Drew, can I give you another college Can I give you another college comparison? The Packers uniforms look like the Baylor Bears football uniforms.
The new ones?
The Packers alternate uniform looks like what Baylor has had in the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd have to look at.
It's the same green.
I don't feel like I know
It's the same green.
There are only so many shades.
That's what I'm saying. Are we doing that?
We're not allowed to. The whole segment is we're making observations. You don't like my observations.
I imagine I could find one though that looked like
off of George's helmet because hey, man, that's the exact same one as the Packers one.
Weirdly enough, I only think it's weird when they're close in geography. It doesn't matter to me that it looks like Baylor if they're in Green Bay. They're not close. Chicago and Illinois, it's they're right there. You must have seen those uniforms. You're so close. Gold, it's mine's only geographic somehow. I don't know why. Maybe it's a stupid way to look at it.
Somebody say, I think that this is correct in this. At least, the Jags put Bold City. They should have put Duval
They should have
on
absolutely
the collar.
put
Come
Duval.
on now.
They absolutely should have done that.
Someone said, go Nebraska solid red. That's what the red is right now, basically. The Chiefs red.
Here's why.
The color seems too similar to Nebraska's. The Chiefs need to change color schemes.
No, Nebraska does.
Okay.
Come on now.
Nebraska's football has existed longer than the Chiefs have, I believe.
They haven't existed in any kind of meaningful
Nebraska
way.
does have new uniforms they just announced, too.
Do they?
I like them. They're nice.
They got new ones they just announced last week, I think.
Cody, the Nebraska Cornhuskers have existed since 1900.
I don't care. Hey,
but because it's college, let's stand on that.
You're being very defensive about college.
I just said, the Chiefs are more important than Nebraska. I think if we ranked out the most important football teams in the entire world, some colleges would definitely be ahead of some NFL teams, but the Chiefs are way ahead of
I
Nebraska.
don't think they would, actually. If we're talking value, absolutely not.
I just meant as far as cultural importance. I'm talking you're just saying they've existed. I'm talking all cultural importance. I think USC
to certain
is
areas,
more.
Or you mean the country?
Just the country. I think to all of America. I think USC is more culturally important than the Panthers.
Yes. Absolutely.
But I think the Chiefs are far ahead of the Nebraska. We're not even up for debate. I don't know which college teams would be included in. Now I have to think about it. Michigan, Alabama.
USC would not be included right now.
Not anymore, maybe. But there was a time, I guess. I grew up in a time in which USC was.
Yeah, the Reggie Bush era.
Yeah, they were a big dog on the street.
All right, up next, guys. Let's get away from this. Up next, let's talk about the future for Patrick Mahomes, including a national narrative that's out there about maybe already seeing the best of Mahomes. We'll do that next year on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event.
Get up to 0% on select 2026 Subaru models for up to 72 months.
And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. The Subaru A Lot to Love event.
VIN number 4S4SLD L61T3038472. Based on 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Imagine buying your next car from one dealership.
With the support of many.
With everything you'll ever need.
When you buy from any of the Balderson Auto Group dealerships, you're getting the support from all of our dealerships.
Like our 100 service bays, collision, and detail centers.
And our free exclusive lifetime warranty. No other auto group gives you that.
From north, central, south, the Balderson Auto Group has you covered.
A family committed to
excellence, growth,
and harmony.
Go to bagkc.com.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
One contractor, all things parking lot. That's who they are over at Gann Asphalt and Concrete, a locally owned and operated company who is ready to take on that project for you, whether it be commercial paving services, asphalt services, or any large-scale project. The first thing a client sees about your business is the parking lot, and Gann Asphalt and Concrete is ready to make sure it gives the right first impression. Trust a locally owned and operated company who is ready to do that work for you. Give them a call, 816-688-3512, or check them out at GannAsphalt.com.
Hi, guys. This is the Rocket Roger Clemens. You don't pitch in the majors for 24 years without feeling it later. Shoulders, elbows, knees. Trust me, pain doesn't retire when you do.
That's baseball legend Roger Clemens.
I tried the ice. I tried rest, PT, nothing really worked. When I heard about QC Kinetics, the concept sounded promising. Non-surgical, regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself without surgery. Sign me up, just what I needed, real lasting relief.
Whether you're a former pro, a weekend golfer, or just want to walk around pain-free again, QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge technology and natural biologics to help restore and repair damaged tissue.
I trusted them with my joints. Now I'm back doing what I love.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Something big is coming. On September 2nd, DraftKings Game Day arrives with massive deals, exclusive offers, and an all-day celebration built for sports fans. The countdown has begun, and all roads lead to Game Day. Sign up with DraftKings today with code 965 and get ready to celebrate the biggest day of the season. DraftKings Game Day has deals dropping all day long, one app, every sport. Mark the date, September 2nd. DraftKings Game Day is the kickoff of a new era and the biggest day in sports history. New DraftKings customers can sign up with code 965 and spend $5 to get $200 in bonus bets within 21 days. That's code 965. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 and non-withdrawable bonus bets issued every 7 days via click to claim for 21 days. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
A dark night, a quiet suburb. But for one family, danger lurks just downstairs.
Oh, no. That's just my husband getting a midnight snack.
Guilty. But
We have Xfinity Shield. It has a built-in Wi-Fi feature that detects movement without cameras.
well, what they didn't know is that an even bigger threat lurks online. A hacker.
Actually, Xfinity Cybersecure protects our connected devices, too.
Okay, fine. But what they didn't see coming
is that these features are included with our Wi-Fi. We did. Kind of the whole point.
Well, this one's not getting a sequel.
What if protecting your home and devices could be drama-free? Introducing Xfinity Shield, with Wi-Fi features designed to give you peace of mind. Visit xfinity.com/shield to learn more. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Xfinity Internet and compatible equipment required.
This is the story of the one.
the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like public works supervisor.
Hey, this water main is under a ton of pressure. Did you ever fix it?
Yeah, 3 layers of duct tape. Wait, should I have added a 4th layer?
This is a job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Futures Week starts August 31st with everyone's NFL predictions. This is Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey sports station.
A whole new world.
Over, sideways, and under on a magic carpet ride.
A whole new world. A new fantastic point of view. I'll take good care of you and let you know that you're a bro, and I will see you in my eyes. A whole new world.
Oh, gosh. What is this? What is that?
Why do they even do that?
Bob and Mac, obviously.
So first off, I want to say something.
What's the
Mac was
context?
lucky hitting the nose.
Happy birthday to Mac.
Yeah, happy birthday.
And I'm not saying this just because it was his birthday. Mac did fine there. Bob was ass. His part was awful and horribly out of key. Bob, and even if it was your birthday, we just had to be honest about that. Real bad. Mac, not bad. Pretty good.
What prompted that today? Were they,
what the hell
were they
that come
talking about was it the Disney stuff because of the NFL Disney partnership that they're doing with the T-shirts? Is that how they got onto like the
I believe
Little Mermaid or whatever?
That was it.
A whole new world.
Oh. And
or
that's
Aladdin, I'm sorry. Not
That's Aladdin.
Yeah.
Whew. I just whew. And that one, that's just a tough song for anybody to do because there's a lot going on.
You were a hater about Pat McAfee a week ago and said his stuff wasn't good. This you were correct in saying that was terrible.
Come on, that was bad.
That was terrible. Yeah.
And I probably still, I imagine, know every single word to that song because of childhood. But it's just it just ain't happening. It just sounds tone deaf. Someone says, Cody, I'm sorry for making fun of your singing. You're better than Bob. Someone says, what? WTF was that? Timu Cody? Bob makes Cody sound awesome. This has been great for my ego, I guess. Someone said their dog just started howling.
I think that's why.
Yikes!
That's why I said before he came back. I said Cody is going to want to hear this. I believe.
Yeah, it makes me feel better
for you.
That
for yourself.
Propped you up a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, made me feel better. No doubt about it. I feel much better about it based on the way that's been going. But I mean, whiff. But Mac, despite the fact that he was having to hear somebody else out of tune during that time, I thought Max is pretty decent. Max appeared in one of my songs once. I don't remember which one, but maybe it was JAC. I need a backup singer for something.
Yeah.
He's
that
in
you're a bro.
Oh God! Why did he go off lyric? What happened there? What were they singing about?
I don't know the context. I'm guessing they maybe we're talking about the Disney NFL partnership thing, but I don't know.
And I will see you in my eyes. Oh,
I hate it. Do you know any Disney songs still by heart? That one I do. Several of the ones from my kids' childhood because they played.
There's probably a couple, yeah.
Certain parts for sure.
Yeah, there you go. It's probably not the full song. Yeah.
I told you I did.
Some stuff from Mulan for sure.
I did.
Oh, Mulan. No.
I did because I thought it was funny. I did Part of Your World too. We talked about this in high school once in a purple seashell bra. So that exists.
Wait, whoa. Back up.
I've said this on the air before.
No, I don't think you have. Hold on. You're telling me there is photo or video evidence of you in high school shirtless wearing a clamshell bra singing
Part of Your World.
Little Mermaid.
So to be clear, I thought it was very funny.
Oh, by the way,
I sewed together a pair of green sweatpants to make a fin. I'm sitting on a fake rock. I'm in a purple seashell bra, and I'm
did you
singing
play in
part
this,
of
though?
your world. I was Ariel.
But Ariel doesn't have purple. I thought that's like Ursula, isn't it?
No. Part of your world is the one that says.
Oh, I'm saying like the costume. You had the wrong colors on.
No, I had a green fin, and she wears a purple seashell bra.
That's purple. Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Little Mermaid in
and I feel pretty
'Cause
confident
Ursula
that my
was
hair was
purple
either
and
I
black.
can't remember. My hair was either dyed red or I was in a wig. I can't remember the wig part, but
I just saw it. I'm like, now I'm going to be
exists.
the rest of the show. I'm going to be thrown off. There's a photo or video evidence to this. What are we? You were
I
wearing.
don't have it anymore. But somebody in high school probably recorded it.
I think I remember you mentioning something along these lines.
Maybe
there is
when I mentioned
evidence of this somewhere.
Someone says they remember it. Okay, I don't remember this. I feel like I would have freaked out even more if I.
You guys know what song I'm talking about, though, right?
I'm not worried about the song. I'm stuck on the part where you're
wearing a bra?
shirtless
The
on
outfit
stage
part.
wearing a Little Mermaid bra.
It got a rather loud
in high school
round of
singing.
applause. People enjoyed it.
What?
But look, you can ask the audience to find it. I don't own a copy of it. I'm sure somebody took photos of it or video of it, but I don't.
And you've been
So it's
giving
on
Drew
Facebook,
a
probably.
hard
But I don't know
time.
where it
You
is.
gave Drew a hard time about the Hooters outfit, and you're out here wearing a
was a
clamshell
kid.
bra.
I was a kid, and I thought it was funny.
Drew's off the hook.
I don't remember.
Drew's off the hook now.
Let's go. I don't remember. Look, and I thought it was funny at the time. I don't know if it would hold up. It might be quite uncomfortable.
Come on, Cody.
Please don't. Please don't.
This isn't even the best part. The best part's the beginning. Part of that world. What would I give to spend a day? Oh, it's a different part of the song. Sorry. Thought you were on the earlier part. I know.
No,
that song.
I was halfway through.
Because it's always like I remember holding the
I would
microphone
assume you
saying,
went higher pitch, correct?
No, it would have been like, look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? It's that. It was the whole song. The whole song. Someone says, when you go under the sea or kiss the girl. That was not the one I went with.
Under the sea. That's a great song, too.
That is good.
Oh, great song. Great song. But yeah, it exists, Gold, if you want to see if somebody has it. They're going to have to find something from 20-something years ago, so good luck. On some dusty VHS tape.
Someone also wanted to know, are you on your singing ban still? Now, his singing ban is over. It's been 3 months. Cody is technically allowed to sing
Bad
again
news
on the
is,
show.
too, you're probably going to get a new song quick because I'm working on a listener song.
Well, that's
for the Cody
different.
Gold
That
Garage
one
Sale.
was never going to get banned.
Are we playing that one?
Yeah, that one. We said the listener songs they don't are part of any band. They paid money for charity to get it.
Well, I know, but I know, but we're playing it over the air. Or you're just giving it to this person.
No.
We did it last
over the
time.
air.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember.
Okay.
It's a ode to
But
his wife.
I thought you guys would appreciate that. So I thought.
I mean, I'm not going to thank
It's
you, but yes, it was interesting.
It's definitely something. Let's talk a little bit about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes.
Should we?
We know that you've got a bet now with a listener about whether or not he'll be available for week 1 of the season.
Yeah, I feel like I've got free money from a listener.
But I don't think Colin Cowherd's the only person. But I want to play his clip about what I think has been part of the national narrative on Mahomes and where he thinks what happens if we've just seen the best.
What if we have seen the best of Patrick Mahomes? So he enters the league. The O-line has a Pro Bowler at left tackle and right tackle. Andy Reid's in his coaching prime. His wide receiver tight end group is an A. The division stunk. Now it's Harbaugh and Herbert. Bo Nix and Sean Payton. Mendoza, Clint Kubiak are interesting. The wide receiver room has been sketchy for years. The run game, which was anemic the last several years. Travis Kelce is now probably in his last year at 36. I think people are forgetting what has happened to Patrick Mahomes over the last 3 years. His passer rating's lower than Russell Wilson in that time. So is it the roster or is it Mahomes?
Look, the Russell Wilson part, passer rating 1, limited sample size for Russ, who did not start that entire time. And I think what they're trying to say is, I would listen to this argument for any quarterback who's not this great. The rules don't apply to this. The only 3 people you can compare him to, in my opinion, or 4, are like Montana, Manning, Brady. And I'll tell you right now, I was dumb enough to have these stupid conversations with friends, I'm sure, around Tom Brady. Oh, haven't we just seen the best? Isn't it just over for the guy? Look at all these quarterbacks playing better than old Tom. just to watch him win 3 more Super Bowls on everybody. If you think you've seen the best of Mahomes, nothing statistically supports that, by the way, just at the quarterback position. Historically, the best years for any quarterback is the next 5. 30 to 35 is the sweet spot, historically, for almost every quarterback who's ever existed, including Tom Brady, I'll point out, and Peyton Manning, a lot of these other guys. So I don't know why you would think he'd be the one exception, I guess.
Look, if you want to say that we're never going to see another 50 touchdown, 5,000 yard season from Mahomes,
that's never going to see the best.
Right, that's more than fair, I would say. And I don't think we'll ever see 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards again from Mahomes. So if that's the criteria, then fine, I agree. We won't see that. But this notion that Mahomes post-injury, this iteration of where we're at in the NFL, now that he's in his 30s, that he's just no longer going to put up numbers and be considered a top 2, top 3, I think still the best quarterback in football. That to me is wild. So if the criteria is just that we won't see him statistically be as good as he was in his first MVP season, well then yeah, I would agree with that. Otherwise, no, I'm with you. We for years, and we all wished here in Kansas City, because we were hoping the Patriots would have their demise, we were all hoping that Brady was just done, not going to Super Bowls anymore and all that. No, I thought people were smart enough to recognize when we are talking about one of the really, really special quarterbacks to ever play the game, I think he'll go down as at least the second greatest of all time when it's all said and done, then it's not the same. It's not the same drop-off. And so, look, this year, I don't think he's going to have his second best or best statistical season, but that doesn't mean that, to me, he's falling off. But I understand that is what people are talking about nationally, yes.
Look, and I get it. Like, he's going to point out one statistic. I would point out Mahomes has better completion percentage, more yards, more touchdowns, less interceptions, less touchdown to interception ratio, more rushing yards, more rushing. Like, he leads Russell Wilson in every single stat. So cherry picking the one. And look, there are probably, I would borderline guess that if you added up the 10 most important stats for quarterback, and Gabe passer rating is one of them, there are probably 8 to 10 quarterbacks who are better than Mahomes over the last 3 seasons. Does that mean I think we've seen the best of Patrick Mahomes? Absolutely not. I would also point out that amongst those statistically down seasons, he attended 2 Super Bowls and won 1. So it's not like, even if like we're just saying statistically we care more about it than what it is, he went 15-1 in one of those seasons and attended a Super Bowl and went 10-6 and won 1 in the other one. And so, like, I don't know that. I think it's just doing, and it's a fun cutoff because the year before that, he led the league in passing yardage, passing touchdowns, yards per, like everything. So, like, you're cutting off the last 3 years of Russell Wilson. If you take it to 4, then it's a massacre. And so, like, and I understand, like, 2022 is not a great sample of where it is. I just think Mahomes 2 years ago had 4,200 yards and 27 touchdowns and a 68% completion percentage. I don't know. I don't get it. Drew, you sent it to us over the weekend. Do you think there's some truth to this?
The question he poses at the end, I think, is the interesting part of the whole thing. Is it the roster, is it Mahomes? I think it's more of the roster than it is Patrick Mahomes, but which has resulted in why he hasn't looked exactly quite the same. But I do think that, and I think that just involves all of the conversations that we've had over the course of the last year or so, including Brett Veach and what they've done to address the wide receiver room and the running back room. And now that they've done some of that, at least, it begs the question about Andy Reid as well, where this year, I think, is going to be interesting for this conversation more than it is what's happened the last 3, because if they go out again this year and, I don't know, let's say they go 10-7, but Pat still, he looks fine, but it doesn't look like he's just ripping your heart out and everything like that, then I think that there isn't necessarily more validation to Colin Cowherd's comments, but I do think the conversation of, are you actually helping the quarterback be, is the roster not good enough? Are you wasting years of Patrick Mahomes? I think really is what the conversation would end up being.
That's a different
conversation. More so
conversation.
than is Patrick Mahomes, have we seen the best of Patrick Mahomes? I think it's more of the roster. When Colin asked that question at the end, I would say it's more the roster than Mahomes as to why he's looked the way he has over the last 3 years. But
right, which would be to me why that to me is more. That makes way more sense moving forward than just have we already seen the best of him? If you're saying that it's because of the roster, we agree that they have got to continue to.
I believe
to
it's more of the roster than.
But if that's the case,
him.
to me that's not going to be the case for the next decade. If Patrick Mahomes plays let's say even if he only plays 7 more years, we'll shortchange him. Sure. I think he plays more than that. But let's say up until 37 years old, I don't believe. Andy Reid is coaching this team 7 years from now, for starters. But also, we're just supposed to assume that like for the next 7 years, they're just never going to surround him with more weapons. I disagree with that. So if we think it's roster, then the answer should be no. We haven't seen already the best of Patrick Mahomes, unless we are only judging him off the highest of highest bar, which is, well, will he ever have 5,000 yards and 50? Well, by that metric, yeah, the answer is no. I don't think he's doing that again.
This is two things I want to point out that are massive flaws in his argument. One is, so he mentioned the Russell Wilson passer rating. Can I tell you how many more yards and touchdowns he had? Not like, sure. He had more.
Sure.
6,000 more yards passing during that time, Drew. 6,000. Over those 3 years. And they played a similar number of games because Mahomes got hurt. And 40 more touchdowns. So, like, the passer rating, I don't care. But this is the big flaw in it. So you think of we all think of Patrick Mahomes as having down years statistically, which he has. I don't think it's as down as you think. For the last 3 years, the exact timeline that he gave you, Patrick Mahomes averages 4,330 yards a season and 27.5 touchdowns. How many quarterbacks last season do you think had 43? I'll give you both. 4,300 yards or over 27 touchdowns. How many do you think had over 4,300 yards last season? This is what he averages, by the way. 4. It's not even that many. It's less, Drew. 4. That's it. So like a down season for him, on average, would still have had him 5th best in passing yardage. Just last season, he was only behind Drake May, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, and Matthew Stafford. How many guys do you think had over 27 passing touchdowns last season?
5.
6 if you include 27 as a tie. His average technically is above that. Caleb Williams, Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Drake May, Jared Goff, and Matthew Stafford. Drake May had 31, and he was 3rd. So Patrick Mahomes' average season is essentially the 4th best passing touchdowns and 4th best passing yardage mark in the NFL last season. That doesn't seem all that down to me. Like, it's down to us, Gold, because of what he does. It is not down compared to literally anybody else. It would be better than Justin Herbert's season last year. It'd be better passing than Josh Allen's last year. It would be Let
me ask you this.
Better than Trevor Lawrence's or the same.
I think the texter brings up a good point. Let's expand this conversation, though. He said, hey, if you're going to ask about Patrick, okay, have we already seen the best of Lamar Jackson? Have we already seen the best of Josh Allen? Have we seen the best of Joe Burrow?
It wouldn't be Joe Burrow because he's coming off a massive statistical season. A year ago? 2 years ago?
No, but I'm just saying, like, but still in general, they're all basically about to be in their 30s if they're not already. Have we already seen the best of them? But you notice that conversation doesn't exist. It's only about Patrick Mahomes.
I just think like I think that they have far underplayed like the statistics as making him seem like he's been bad. And I'm just telling you that if you average over the course of the season, the number of quarterbacks who have 4,327, his average over the last 3 years is like 4 guys a year.
That's why I told you I think it's the roster. It's not him.
Yeah, no, it's
agreed.
We agree it's the roster, but I guess I take issue with Colin Cowherd's point. Yes, at the end he finally got to the roster, but in general, if we're saying, yeah, we've already seen the best of them, if we're acknowledging it's the roster, I'm just not convinced that for the next 7 years, the roster is never going to get back up to being one of the better
you would
rosters
think so,
in football.
But you would think so, but I mean, even though they went 15-2 or whatever it was.
15-1, yeah.
Whatever it was. Pat even said it himself post-game, 10 times, thanks to the defense because they won us the game.
Yep.
Like, I think that's the part of it of recognizing the job that Spags has done. Not that they've carried the load, but I would say for the most part in terms of getting them at least to the postseason in terms of the spot that they're in, the defense has been the bigger reason why they've been as good as they have been. I think that's why part of the conversation is being had, but it's if you look at it from being here over the last 3 years, you guys obviously longer, you look at the issues that they've had at wide receiver, and it's obviously not Patrick Mahomes' fault that, the problems have gone the way that they have, more so than it is the level of talent surrounding him.
But like even in that year that you're talking about, we went 15-1 and we know it was the defense. He was 7th in passing yards and 5th in total touchdowns. If that's a bad season.
26 touchdowns and 11 interceptions and almost 4,000 yards passing that particular year. Finished 6th in MVP voting.
And he would have got to 4,000 last year, but his completion percentage was terrible last year.
He'd have gotten to 4,500 or something, I think, based on the average.
Yeah, his completion percentage was worse than Baker Mayfield's last year. It was bad.
Yeah, and then it goes back to just the overall wide receiver room. Think about the guys that were in the room last year and the last 2 years and where they're at in the NFL. Juju Smith-Schuster's not on a roster.
Unemployed.
Sky Moore's battling for a final roster spot in Green Bay.
He'll be unemployed
McCall Hardman's not. He's battling for a roster spot.
There's Tony in Cancun. He's not even like
which
around
is again where you bring in the not that Patrick Mahomes needs help, but in a way to make him. You want to make it easy for your quarterback, I think, and that's the conversation that people have had in a way kind of about Josh Allen, but not many people have said as much about Patrick Mahomes, I think partially because they've been winning during this time frame. But if another down year happens, then I think the conversation will be asked, what in the world are they doing with the wide receiver, and why are you not giving Patrick Mahomes the best opportunity? And that's where the circulation around Brett Veach and even Andy to an extent about whether he's washed or not if they miss the playoffs again is going to happen.
No, I agree. I guess I just take issue when, and you're not saying this, but I take issue with, normally when people bring up, have we seen the best of Patrick Mahomes already? It is more of a, Patrick Mahomes isn't going to be any good anymore, right?
The quarterback
if
falling
the conversation is like, hey, are they going to help him out and add more talent around him? More than fair conversation. We've had that.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times nationally, it's like, oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes, like he's never going to be that good anymore. And people make it seem like it's he personally is not going to be good anymore. Now, he needs to get better at throwing the deep ball. We've talked about that. There's elements of that. I think the injury might cause him to be a better pocket passer than he's been in his career and settle down his footwork a little bit. Hopefully that leads to it. But anyway, we'll I'm sure get back into this throughout the season plenty based on how he's performing and also how the other guys that we kind of talk about him with Allen and Burrow and Lamar Jackson as well. All right, guys, let's get to the trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
This is a crazy one. This takes us down to Houston, Texas. And the video...
Where you used to live, your old stomping grounds.
Yeah, I did live there for a little bit. And there was an Uber driver waiting for another ride, waiting for the app to sign him to another ride. And we'll play the video, but basically cops were in the process of trying to apprehend a suspect. And they were running to try to apprehend the suspect, and they got a little winded and needed some assistance.
Yeah. Hey, give me a ride over there, please.
The officers are hopping into this Uber.
Go, drive that way. That way.
They're telling the Uber driver to now drive them.
Go, pick her up, pick her up. DeLeon, get in! DeLeon! Go. I'm in here! Get in, bro!
Which way am I going?
Which way did he go? Over there. Go that way.
Just arrived in the area. We're looking east to Oxford. If you could just put the license.
Which way? You're going straight. I don't know where he went, though. Hey, Bollard, turn right search east on. Then turn left on east. Sorry, west on. What? That's him? Yeah. What?
That's a real video. Houston police officers responded to a call around midnight back on August 7th about a suspect that was threatening to shoot a woman and her kids in the Heights area, which is a neighborhood in Houston. The department said that while officers were taking statements, the suspect left in an apartment and began running away. They started the chase. An Uber driver caught the whole thing on camera. That's what you heard, posted the video. But the driver was asked to give them a ride. And now people, of course, are asking, A, are you legally required to? B, the liability here for the
department is a nightmare.
Imagine if the Uber driver would have gotten in an accident or would have got shot by the suspect or something. There would have been a massive lawsuit here, I assume.
Did the Uber driver not turn the radio down? Was he just playing music while he was going on?
The smooth jazz was great.
He was playing like smooth jazz, like elevator music while he's driving these cops in a police pursuit?
That's the best part.
And after all this, the driver dropped the officers off and they returned to their patrol vehicle and they were unable to locate the suspect after all that.
Commandeering an Uber and then one guy sitting in the back. I mean, if you're the person, you just got to drive and you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
I think so.
Maybe accidentally pop a curb, sue the department. Might sue the department anyway. Just figure it out. I didn't even crash the car. Be like, you can't be just putting me in this spot. You can't just be demanding. Did they call the Uber? Or did they just like...
No. He was just chilling.
The guy was just sitting in the Uber waiting for another ride to pop up. And the lady tells him to roll down the window. He goes, hello, and says, let me in your car. And jumps in the car.
Yeah, no, this was like they were trying to run down a suspect.
Like, the hell, why are they trying to find me a new driver? You're like, and then you find out it's because the cop stole your ride?
Yeah, that was the thing. He hadn't been assigned a ride yet. He hadn't accepted a ride yet. And he's just waiting in this neighborhood, and the police officers were winded and also couldn't catch up to the suspect. And so they hopped in.
The extra physical training they're going to have to do, they might send him back to academy. The extra running, if they don't get fired, the two of them will have to do because of this will be all time. I mean, when you watch one of the cops run, it's pretty sad. it does not look like, they're like, I'm going to pull look at the Uber. It doesn't look like they were going to catch anybody, I will say, when they were getting in there. He's just like, he just looks confused. Like, okay. I mean, get in the back. It's so good.
Having a civilian involved in your pursuit of a suspect seems like a automatic no-no and about to just get
things could have been way worse, obviously.
Reprimanded pretty strongly.
You're inviting a lot of issues into play, potentially.
It's great.
That's the trash of the day. That was one we chose. Cody did send us one yesterday.
Should we get to
Maybe
tomorrow?
I didn't know if we can do or not, honestly, on the show. I wasn't sure.
That's a fair point.
If it crossed the line. Can I read you the headline?
Yeah.
Cody wanted us to do the trash of the day on nudist German politician that once.
I think you're allowed to say that.
Group.
You're not describing it.
That once orgies at City Hall. Yeah.
He thinks it'll be a bonding moment for the community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the trash of the day that we didn't get to today. Up next, we're expected to hear from Patrick Mahomes as he will speak to the media. We also will talk more about whether or not Mahomes actually needs to play on Friday night in the preseason game. We'll do that next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Get up to 0% on select 2026 Subaru models for up to 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City. 0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. The Subaru A Lot to Love event.
VIN number 4S4SLD L61T3038472, based on 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Imagine buying your next car from one dealership.
With the support of many.
With everything you'll ever need.
When you buy from any of the Balderson Auto Group dealerships, you're getting the support from all of our dealerships.
Like our 100 service bays, collision, and detail centers.
And our free exclusive lifetime warranty. No other auto group gives you that.
From north, central, south, the Balderston Auto Group has you covered.
A family committed to
excellence, growth,
and harmony.
Go to bagkc.com.
Baseball season is in full swing, and there's no better place to be than Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform. Maybe you're trying to decide who will take home the trophy. I like Milwaukee, currently trading at 11%, meaning a $100 trade over on Kalshi would see $871 in return. Also the favorite Los Angeles, currently a $100 trade would see $283. Over on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Download the Kalshi app and use promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to get $20 when you trade $20. K-A-L-S-H-I, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. We're in the Midwest, where tornadoes are real and our water table is high. So we practically tap a well every time we dig a basement. As a plumber, I could tell you that water always wins. This month, we have a sump pump special. $200 off a main pump or $400 off a battery backup system. Protect your basement. If you haven't used us yet, we would love to win you over. Visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hi, I'm Carter.
And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack.
Jack had a home he needed to sell fast.
And Jack thought he had it all figured out.
So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers.
Jack chose the highest offer.
But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out.
leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do.
Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer.
Jack got suckered.
Make sure you aren't hung out to dry.
Call our dad at Rex Buys KC.
Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals.
No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises.
Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process.
Now, don't be like Jack.
Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Just take one bite, you're gonna love it. Hey, my name is Ezekiel, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A. And the little thing I love about the new Chick-fil-A chicken and waffles is that I can enjoy it all day. It's the perfect combination of sweet and savory. The chicken, it was juicy, crispy, and all around it tasted amazing. The waffle is fluffy, and the syrup makes it 10 times better. You can have it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Chicken and waffles is definitely the way to go.
Order chicken and waffles at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Menu switches from breakfast to lunch at 10:30 a.m. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Rob Sight Ford, KC's Ford volume leader and top rated on Google. 135th and State Line. Rob Sight Ford, your 2025 Ford volume leader. Top rated on Google with 4.8 stars and 3,000 plus reviews. The best selection, best prices, and Kansas City's best customer service. Visit Rob Sight Ford at 135th and State Line. Buy right, save big, and drive home a winner. Only at Rob Sight Ford.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
What's up, Chiefs fans? It's Travis Kelce, and welcome into the Chiefs Red Half Hour with Cody and Gold. Weekdays at 11:30 on 96.5 The Fan.
Coming up in about 10 minutes or so, we are expected to hear from a couple members of the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is slated to talk today. We're not sure if he will be first up or last, but around 11:45, Eric Bieniemy, Steve Spagnuolo, Dave Tobe, and Mahomes are scheduled to speak. I believe we will, depending on the timing, we will take Mahomes and Spags at least, and we'll see if we end up taking a few of the other coaches. If not, we will definitely bring you any notable cuts from those coaches, depending on how our timing works out today. And maybe Patrick Mahomes talking, we'll find out for sure if he's been told if he's playing on Friday. I think we've all assumed that he won't. I don't think he needs to play Friday. No,
I don't either.
Andy Reid, I think it's not even a question. Andy Reid prefers Patrick Mahomes to play in the preseason. We've just seen that throughout his career. The only reason why he has not played so far is, because he's coming back from an injury. And Andy was asked yesterday whether or not Mahomes is cleared to play in games, and Andy kind of sidestepped the question. He didn't flat out say no. He didn't flat out say yes.
He also told Nate Taylor, if you want me to play him, I'll play him, Nate, in the preseason games. And he drew something very close to that in joking about it. Look, if you ask me right now, hey, should Patrick Mahomes play in the preseason? Would you play him? Like, if I were Andy Reid, if I were the coach, would I play him? No. What's the risk? And I guess, what's worth the risk at this point? That he gets 8 passes in a preseason game? Or that maybe he doesn't go behind Khalil Benson, Jalen Moore, and somebody else at guard on the offensive line? You've got the wrong left tackle, the wrong right tackle, the wrong right guard in this scenario, because when you're missing 2 guys and playing 2 out of position, well, then you're just asking for trouble in a lot of ways. And look, he's going to get hit eventually. No matter who his offensive line is, no matter how good his offensive line is, he will take a hit. But if I can give him 20 more days to heal, and I'll just say, for an injury like that, that's not nothing. 20 days of him continuing to do more with his knee, getting more comfortable with it, that is not nothing. And I would not in any way risk it, even at the risk of a slow start or whatever the concerns are, I guess, overall.
I don't think the benefit outweighs the risk. And yeah, there's always risk. It's the NFL. There's always risk coming off of an injury. I just think you would rather apply that risk to a regular season week 1 game against the Denver Broncos than Friday night meaningless game against the Seattle Seahawks in the 3rd and final preseason game. Yes, it would probably be 1 drive, and if they don't move the ball, it's 4 snaps and he's done. But is he bad? Like, here's the thing. Even if you want to make the rust argument, and I get it, are we saying that 4 snaps in which he throws 1 pass and they go 3 and out, so 3 snaps, I'm sorry, and he goes 3 and out, that magically cured all rust? Like, good to go?
Just to see the speed 1 time?
I don't know.
Does he get hit or not?
I don't know. And it's hypothetical. Does he or not? That's fair. Is it worth the risk of getting hit for the first time against Seattle in a preseason for a game that doesn't matter?
I don't think
you can always get hurt in any game. That's not my argument's not that he can't get hurt against Denver. It's that I'm at least willing to risk it in a game that counts, as his career is about playing in the regular season in the playoffs, not playing in the preseason.
And I think that's always inevitable kind of the issue, and when you're trying to make these decisions is
you brought up a good point, though, earlier, Cody.
And
that is that there's a good chance Simmons, maybe Trey Smith does. I doubt it, although he was back at practice. But probably no Simmons or Trey Smith playing. So you're going to have him behind a beat-up offensive line, and that's how you want to acclimate him back to football?
And then what? Just to make him comfortable, you're going to also let Ken Walker get a couple of... Like, it just doesn't... The risk-reward value is too low. The only argument I would make for it is if Patrick Mahomes is sitting in your office, the one person I would say you do everything to keep happy for, and he will not take no for an answer. If Patrick Mahomes is sitting in your desk and he's like, I'm playing, Andy, whether you like it or not, I am playing in this football game behind a closed door, obviously. He wouldn't do that in public. But if that's, and we'll hear from Patrick Mahomes here shortly, if he is adamant and will not listen, and here's the thing, I don't think that's the case. I don't think Mahomes has ever been like that. He wants to play. He's made it clear he wants to play. Andy said he wants to play. Nate Taylor reports he wants to play in the preseason. He wants to get some snaps in. He's not afraid to play in these games. But if, in the end, he won't let it go under any circumstance and one series will get it off your back, that's the only argument I can make for it. I still wouldn't do it. I would actively fight against it, if I could, in any conceivable way, for a variety of reasons. But it just doesn't, it's one of those things to me, Gold, it just doesn't feel worth the risk. It just doesn't feel worth the risk in any way. And so I just...
And there's no way no matter what side you're on, there's no way for anybody to like prove whether it was the right or bad decision other
than if he gets hurt.
Yeah, because like in week 1, if the Chiefs offense doesn't look good and Mahomes doesn't play great, I guess there will be somebody that says, well, he should have played in the preseason.
Could just be playing the league's best defense from last year.
And then on the flip side too, if Mahomes goes and throws for 4 touchdowns and 300 yards against the Broncos, then I could argue, well, then he didn't need the preseason. Like
or
we could play that. We could play that game all day long. So I just don't think it. You're going to have a hard time convincing me, though, that those 4... Because Andy would not play him for a whole quarter, even if he played. So the 3 to 5 snaps that Mahomes would get on Friday, that's suddenly what he needs to feel comfortable, I just don't buy it.
I don't either. It doesn't... he says he wants it, so like there's at least an argument for it, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's not a risk I would take.
This logic to me sucks. I'm sorry on the text line. He misses fewer games if he gets hurt on Friday than opposed to he gets hurt the 3rd play of the regular season. What are we talking about?
I don't want him to get hurt at all.
What?
He can't. By the way, this is not Schrodinger's cat. If he doesn't play on Friday, he can't be injured. There is no two sides of this coin. He can't be hurt.
So by that logic, you think that
he's going to get hurt no matter what.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're saying he will get hurt no matter what. So might as well get it out of the way. What?
No, I don't like that logic. That makes me feel bad. And I don't like it. And I don't want to look at it that way. But the only argument for like the snaps is that he hasn't played under center a lot. And I told you that because they didn't practice that a lot, he was bad at throwing under center. Would it be nice if he could have 3 under center passes to just get the feel? Sure. But also, I don't know if those 3 snaps at that speed is going to be much different than all the under center snaps he's been taking for the last 6 weeks in St. Joe. It just, that part of it just kind of changes it, I guess, at least a little bit for me. So I'm not going to worry about it. Let's see what Patrick Mahomes says in a few minutes. He's going to talk to the media at some point during either this Chiefs Red Half Hour or at the beginning of the noon hour, and we'll bring it to you and see his opinion on it. Let's look at the rest of the roster for at least just a minute as we're here in the Chiefs Red Half Hour. I'd asked you guys a question before the show, and I think everyone's going to give a very similar answer to this on the text line, but I'll give you my answer, which is different than this, which is, who's the Chiefs player you think will exceed their expectations? My assumption is that I'll get a very similar answer on the text line. So I'll let both of you guys give at least a T. Before I give you my answer, I want to know, is it the answer that I think it is going to be, or is there somebody who's actually off this list we should be discussing? Who do you think it is, Gold? Who do you think is the Chiefs who will outperform expectation? Maybe for you it's Worthy.
Yeah, I mean, I think based on where everybody else is, they will say, that Xavier Worthy's going to have like 600 yards this year. I've told you I'm still pretty bullish on his career. I get the skepticism. This is a make or break season for him. He's got to go out there and be available for starters. And last year, while he was on the field, we all know he wasn't right because he got hurt 3 plays into the season. So I think there's still another level to his game. Now, I'm not telling you he's going to go out there and have a 1,000-yard season. But I think Xavier Worthy is capable in a healthy year in this offense to go ahead and have an 850-yard season. So I think that is definitely past most people's expectations. So, yeah, I guess that would be my answer then. I don't think that is crazy to say. You could call me crazy if I was trying to sell you on Xavier Worthy turning into a 1,000-yard guy this year. I would say, okay, that's quite a leap, assuming Rice is healthy, assuming Tyquan's healthy. If Patrick Mahomes is healthy all year, to me, 800 to 850 yards is absolutely in play for Xavier Worthy in his 3rd year in the NFL. And if he doesn't get to that mark, then yeah, it's not happening for him.
I think that would be above expectation. Somebody asked, hey, what's the expectation for Ken Walker over on Twitch, like 1,200? I said, yeah. So if you think he's a 1,500 yard back, that would be the case. He's my answer, by the way. I have told you, I think Ken Walker is going to have closer to like 1,400 or 1,500 all-purpose yards. Now, some of that is obviously coming in the receiving end in that department between the two. I think he will exceed expectations. Who I want it to be is Cyrus Allen, R. Mason Thomas, Peter Woods, Felix Anudike-Uzomah, who I thought would be a very common answer to this list. I'd love it to be somebody on the defensive line, but the problem is my expectation for Peter Woods is 1 sack and just being a good defensive guy. So if he had 3 or 4, that'd be massive. R. Mason Thomas, my expectations are 3.5 sacks. So if he got to 6, that would be a massive improvement. Ken Walker feels like the kind of guy who could do it. Cyrus Allen is the answer I thought maybe everybody on the planet would get.
No, he can't exceed expectations anymore because fans have elevated the expectations so much that I don't think he can exceed.
Yeah, we don't even know what the expectations are for him.
He could exceed my expectations. My expectations are 450 to 500 yards and 3 to 4 touchdowns. So he could exceed mine, but I don't think that's everybody's expectations. Goals are actually lower. Mine are high compared to Alex's.
Yeah, look,
and mine are low compared to 90% of fans.
If you're asking the question of who would you like to exceed expectations that can help the team the most, well, then that's where we get to R. Mason Thomas and maybe Cyrus Allen are the answer of like, what could change the entire season even more if they exceed expectations? Those are probably the answers. But no, I don't think Cyrus Allen can exceed expectations anymore because they have gotten, I think personally, a little wild. Puka Nacua comparisons in year 1 kind of stuff. If you're saying that you think he could be Puka his rookie year, well, then there is no exceeding expectation. You're already saying that he's going to be a 900-yard guy his rookie year. I think he's a 450 guy his rookie year. So exceeding
you're up a little bit from where we were
I'm up from week 1 of training camp, absolutely. But there's plenty of people that think that's being a hater. So it's crazy where we've gotten. I don't think there's much exceeding expectation anymore for Cyrus Allen. That's where we're at.
Like I told you, I think his season on Cyrus Allen, the way I'm viewing his season is based on the way that they've talked about him and the people who are ahead of him. I'd like him to have McCole Hardman's rookie year. McCole Hardman had 538 yards, 6 touchdowns, probably a little high because McCole Hardman they use in a lot of different weirdo red zone spots.
Although I could see them doing that with Cyrus.
Yeah, that's not out of the question. And look, some of his, or at least maybe no, they were all receiving. 6 receiving touchdowns because of the little screen stuff too. 538 yards and 17 rushing. 550 yards? Yeah, that feels, 555. That feels like what I would think, 500-ish for Cyrus Allen. But to exceed the expectation, I think it's got to be like 700 or more. Like if he's at 605, I don't think we're getting anywhere. 750, that is well exceeding what I personally think he's going to do this year.
A couple of Emmett Johnson texts. What are your expectations for Emmett Johnson?
I just don't know. I can't figure out how he's getting on the field yet. So like my expectations for him are actually, like if it's personal expectations, pretty low. Like, I don't think we've got Vegas totals out for Emmett Johnson's over.
Not yet. Haven't seen those. We've had this discussion, for a couple weeks. I think the key, we keep repeating ourselves, but Can he get on the field where they trust him in passing downs and or pass protection opportunities? If he can do that, he gets on the field more. But on the text line, there was a text from the 816 that said, "Wouldn't you guys rather see Walker or Johnson be more of a split back, each of them to get 800 yards?" No, I'm paying $15 million a year to Kenneth Walker.
I want him to do good.
If he has 800 yards, something went terribly wrong.
Or if it's a split back situation, Kenneth Walker actually hit that he has to be what he was in Seattle. Like he isn't capable of carrying a load.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That would be a huge disappointment. If Kenneth Walker had 800 yards, that'd be massively disappointing.
I think that's part of the risk that they took by paying him, though.
But the texter saying
he had last year.
Right, but the texter saying, wouldn't you rather see that? No, I wouldn't. I agree with you, Drew. That would mean that either it got hurt or he started to wear down at the end of the year or something like that.
Because Emmett Johnson would be the person for me.
Okay, what do you think? What do you think his expectation?
I don't think they'll be able to keep him off the field. That's why I asked you what your expectation was. Like, based on what he's done, the fact that he can break aries, which we haven't seen in years.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker can do that, though.
No, I understand that. But at some point, Kenneth Walker is going to get tired. You're not bringing in, if he's tired and if he's gassed after a 40-yard run on a first down and he needs out, Emmett Johnson is coming in on first down, or he should be, and then you just give it to him again. So to me, I don't think for his ability, what he can do, I don't think it would behoove the Chiefs to just not play him and have him be fourth on the depth chart because he can't pass block. I think he will find his way on the field because they won't be able to help themselves because he can help the offense chug a little bit more and get a further. They can get further progression with him, in my opinion, than they can with Amari DiMercato, in spite of the pass blocking questions because of what we've seen in terms of the tape before he got preseason games, what he's looked like in preseason games. I don't know what your expectation. If your expectation is 200 yards, he gets more than that, in my opinion.
And that's fair. He might exceed it based on that. And I'll point out with like Ken Walker, he's played 3 full healthy seasons. Goldie played 11 2 years ago. In his 3 full healthy seasons, 12-15, 11-64, and 13-09 yards from scrimmage. That's why 1,200 is the expectation. That's what he does.
Yeah, and you brought up Amari DiMercato, and it's like seeing what we've seen from him versus Emmett Johnson. I don't think anybody's arguing. Of course, the ceiling is higher for Emmett Johnson than Amari DiMercato. I don't know anybody that's trying to argue that's not the case. But as we said, that's not the whole story, though. Perhaps about him getting on the field. That's not. Nobody's arguing that. Is there way more upside to Emmett Johnson having the ball in his hand than Amari DiMercato? The answer is, of course, but. Once again, do the Chiefs trust him? You're saying that they won't be able to help themselves. I would love to believe that, but I agree with you, but I have seen, what is it now, 10 plus years, 13 plus years of Andy Reid. If they don't trust you to A, hold on to the football, but to B, protect the quarterback as well, you're not getting on the field. So he's got to at least get to earn their trust. Maybe he has. We're going to find out. I don't think he will earn that trust by week 1.
I think his over-under, Drew, should be set at Rashard Smith's year last year.
150 yards? Go over.
323 from scrimmage. Hold on, wait.
150 rushing yards.
I was going to, from scrimmage, hold on. 323 from scrimmage.
Over.
I think that is a fair, over-under mark. It sounds like you'd take the under, Gold.
Yeah, that number is right on it. I think that's actually a pretty decent number. I don't think he's getting 500 yards from scrimmage in his rookie season. I just don't see it.
My expectation is that 300 to 350, right in that Rashard Smith range.
I think he'll perform beyond that.
Yeah,
so what's the number you're saying?
I don't know, 400 or 450. It's not too much higher than that. But
if we're 400, then we're really not.
We're not way off.
Yeah, but if you said it at 350, is he going to be beyond that? Yes, he'll be beyond that.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Then we're actually not far off. If he's saying at 350, and you said you're taking the over, and I said what's the number? You said probably 400. Then we're actually not that far off on what we're expecting.
What we technically don't know is who is the 2. They've never said it.
It should be Emmett Johnson.
We don't have any idea who the second back is off of the bench.
Right.
We don't know if it's last year at this time, we would have absolutely thought it was Elijah Mitchell. It never was.
But I think
it was never Elijah Mitchell.
The whole conversation around Emmett Johnson's really interesting. Because Cody, you've even brought it up before, where Andy sometimes, and Spags too, they play players who they trust more than who's more talented. And that I think is a problem at times. And I understand protecting the quarterback is a thing. But if you're telling me, well, we're going to play Rashard Smith and run him out of the backfield on a third down and long, because we trust
Rashard
him
Smith either.
I think that is insane coaching behavior when we know the talent that Emmett Johnson has. I understand that he might lack in one area, but if that means you're going to take away his snaps and take away what he can do when he's shown that he can be better than the guys you have ahead of him, then you're wasting then you wasted the pick. I think you're wasting people's time. I think you're making your team less than what they could be on offense when you're taking that person off the field when they're actually better than the others that are in front of them because you don't trust them.
Yeah,
I just don't think that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, in general, like this, just the sentence, if the player's better, play him. I agree, but I also think it's not as simple as that. Like there is still part of your role is protecting the quarterback if you're going to be that running back on that particular situation, right? Like there is still part of your job responsibility. And my quarterback is coming off of an injury. I have to know that you're not misreading the linebacker and Mahomes is getting destroyed. That is worth way more to me than Emmett Johnson's ability to take a 5-yard carry into a 10-yard carry when he's still not my primary back. Like that to me is a bigger deal. With all due respect to Emmett Johnson, we're not talking about, hey, they're keeping Saquon Barkley off the field because he can't pass protect. We're still talking about a guy that was a third round, fifth round pick. So this is not me hating on Emmett Johnson. He clearly is better as a ball carrier than anybody else other than Kenneth Walker in the running back room. But he has to be able to do some other things as well. I don't think that's bad coaching.
Yeah, I mean, being a 5th rounder, it means... And look, running back, I would say, Drew, is one of the few times they'll make an exception to that. They started a 7th-round rookie at running back. So, like, if you can ball, but, like, they did have a choice because that wasn't
like Isaiah Pacheco was out here clothesline on a linebacker as he comes in, or he's not stepping up to a linebacker the way that Emmett Johnson could. I think for a guy that can make plays, though, you're taking a weapon off the field because he struggles in pass protection. To me, I don't understand that.
Now, to his credit, while we're talking about Emmett Johnson, to his credit, now it's preseason, he actually has graded out well as a pass protector so far, if you value the PFF stuff. So if that's the case, maybe he has done enough. Like, if he plays early, to me, he has done enough to earn the trust of the coaching staff. He actually ranks as the 7th best running back in tight ends. They looped him together with at least 4 pass blocking snaps in the preseason.
Ken Walker's clearly the one. And I think Brashard Smith is clearly the, like, gadgety guy. Like, we have, in this instance, like, we have packages for him. We know the plays we're going to use him in him. It's mostly going to be pass, whatever. The running back, too, I think, is between DeMercado and Emmett Johnson. I'm not saying Emmett Johnson can't win it. I just don't know who's ahead in that race yet, and I don't think we'll actually know until the regular season, unfortunately.
All right, let's get a break in. We're awaiting a couple other individuals speaking at the podium. Patrick Mahomes is expected to speak to the media. Might also hear from Steve Spagnuolo. Coming up next here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog!
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct, to the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Useful tools and advice that work for your financial situation. That's a great call. Join Main Street Credit Union and get access to a whole coaching staff of certified financial counselors who can help you create a perfect financial game plan with our spend accounts. Real people, real progress. Visit mainstreetcu.org to see how we can take your financial game to the next level.
Something big is coming. On September 2nd, DraftKings Game Day arrives with massive deals, exclusive offers, and an all-day celebration built for sports fans. The countdown has begun. All roads lead to Game Day. Sign up with DraftKings today with code 965 and get ready to celebrate the biggest day of the season. DraftKings Game Day has deals dropping all day long. One app, every sport. Mark the date, September 2nd. DraftKings Game Day is the kickoff of a new era and the biggest day in sports history. New DraftKings customers sign up with code 965 and spend $5 to get $200 in bonus bets within 21 days. That's code 965. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 in non-withdrawable bonus bets issued every 7 days via click to claim for 21 days. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
You work hard, you pay your bills, but with credit cards, higher gas and grocery prices, you're making the payments, but not getting ahead. This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. Golden Oak can help you refinance, consolidate bills, and free up monthly cash flow. Call today for a free mortgage checkup. There's never a charge to talk with us.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. Call 913-890-GOAL.
One contractor, all things parking lot. That's who they are over at Gann Asphalt and Concrete, a locally owned and operated company who is ready to take on that project for you, whether it be commercial paving services, asphalt services, or any large-scale project. The first thing a client sees about your business is the parking lot, and Gann Asphalt and Concrete is ready to make sure it gives the right first impression. Trust a locally owned and operated company who is ready to do that work for you. Give them a call, 816-688-3512, or check them out at GannAsphalt.com.
Summer's here and Smokehouse Barbecue has you covered. If you're planning on grilling out, let Smokehouse Barbecue handle the heavy lifting with all the sides. If you're having family in town for vacation, bring them by. They have room to accommodate large parties. And if you're heading up to St. Joe for training camp, make Smokehouse Barbecue your ultimate pit stop for the best barbecue in Kansas City. Visit them in Gladstone, Zona Rosa, or Independence, or at SmokehouseBBQ.com. That's SmokehouseBBQ.com. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
I've been able to resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He'd got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He'd heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Listen to the Royals and Guardians over on the AM 610 this Friday with Vern's pregame starting at 5 and first pitch just after 6 on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We're expected to hear from Patrick Mahomes in just a couple of minutes. We also, of course, will get back into some of the other NFL headlines with all 32. But let's head out there right now as Steve Spagnuolo is talking about his defense, what he saw from the last preseason game, and what to expect on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, we still haven't, you guys know we still haven't had LJ out there very much, so that's a piece of the puzzle. But certainly Noel and Mansour have done a good job out there, along with the other guys, Christian and Melvin. We got another game to kind of evaluate it. We'll see where we are. We're kind of moving some pieces around. I get, and then Haloe didn't play, and so we're working through that. And Jamari's not out there right now, so we got a lot of moving pieces right now. Hopefully, as we get into next week, all that stuff will start to take fold.
When it comes to Peter Woods,
yeah,
obviously you guys are high on him.
Yeah.
You want to see him improve the fastest to be ready.
Him and I were talking a lot yesterday about his footwork. There was one play, and I've talked to him about that often. And he's a conscientious guy, and so he wants to do well, and he's been working on it. But there was a play in practice yesterday where he kind of got his feet tangled up, and it gets him in trouble for a big, powerful guy. I think they can make some plays for us, but probably footwork more than anything.
How do you see like some of the other guys on that cornerback group kind of fitting in? When you got guys like Singleton competing, and Kolu, and Knowles as well.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of guys out there. I mean, Kevin made a nice play yesterday. I don't know if you guys were still out there for that, but this game will tell a lot. I mean, we'll see where Coach Reed's going to go in terms of time for the so-called first group, but I think this game's pretty important for a lot of those guys to weed it out. I mean, you guys all know it becomes a numbers game, and we can't keep everybody. But I would have liked to have gotten Cater a couple more reps last week. He didn't get in there quite as much as we had planned. I talked with him about that. Hopefully, we can get him some more reps in this game.
Steve, what do you speak to the value of Chris Roll and Wallace? You've had him for
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad we brought that up. He's playing a lot of spots right now. In any defense, I think that's valuable when you can be that versatile. And he's been, listen, you guys know his story and his journey. He comes in here as an undrafted guy and opened up some eyes, made the team. I can't remember if it was practice squad or the 53, but he has just kind of done that every year, and he's become a real reliable player for us. So hopefully he can do some things. Right now we got to play. We'll figure out. We get LJ back. We got to get everybody back to figure out where everybody's going to slot in. But it's good to have that versatility.
Steve, what do you think the impact of Felix's sack was for him, and also in your eyes? And what else did you see out of him?
I thought he had a really good game overall. I mean, a week ago, I think Jaden Hicks probably played the best of the crew. I mean, you could throw Felix in there for this one in this particular game. Not only that one play. I mean, he almost had another one. I think the very next play. But that quarterback, they have another athlete out there, a quarterback. Every team's got one, right? And they make you miss. But I think Felix has done a nice job coming off the injury, didn't get a lot of reps in the OTAs because of it. And he did a lot of catching up in training camp, and I think he's found his way into getting a little bit more comfortable. I think the sack is always a confidence builder, right?
And how much do you think his growth is mental versus physical, overcoming the injuries or whatever else was encumbering before? But how much do you think it's like he's got his mind in a place now where he gets everything? And
I think we're closing in on that. I think there was a time when he was pretty leery about the injury, but I think he's over that now. I mean, I don't know if you guys get a chance to talk to him, but it feels like that to me, And I think your point about the sack, I mean, that usually gets things out of your head when you feel like you can do that. So that's a good thing, and hopefully he can build on that and have another good game.
couple more with Legarius. Practiced a little bit.
I mean, yeah.
What do you think this is going to
Well, I think I check in with Rick every day, Rick and Julie, to see where we just don't want any setbacks, And the one thing about having LJ here is, I mean, we know exactly what he is and what he can do. So I feel confident in that. He knows the system. He's kind of right back into it and embraced it. He's he's a student of the game in the meeting rooms, which is good for the young guys to see. So he's been helpful that way. And then we're just kind of chipping away at building, a number of reps to get him ready, hopefully, to play in the regular season. But one of the things I'm always cautious about is I don't want him to go backwards health-wise.
When he was here before, he had to manage that too. He wasn't particularly healthy last year.
Right, yeah. But they, Julie and Rick and the crew, they did a great job with that. And hopefully we get the exact same thing. I mean, I think he feels good about that. He needed some strengthening, I think, early in the training camp. And, don't throw guys out there that are maybe susceptible to injury. So I think we've been smart with it. And I think it helps that we know him. It'd be different if you brought somebody in brand new and he missed all this time. With LJ, I think we're confident he can do it.
We're going to go 3 more. We'll start with Pete.
Coach, on Steve, it's been a few years since he's been inside-outside.
Yeah.
How open are you to that full?
Yeah, we've been, LJ and I talked about it a lot. I mean, he's comfortable in both. Here's his response always when I ask him, wherever you need me. That's what he says. Like, do it. And so a little bit of it will be determined by how, who else is out there and what they can do and whether LJ was always a lot like Trent. LJ was always effective inside. But when we needed him to match up on somebody outside, that kind of dictated it. So that same thing might happen. We'll see where the other guys are.
What about Matt and then Nate?
Second week in a row, we're talking about Jaden Hicks.
Yeah.
Having a pretty good game. I know we talked about him last week, but are you
seeing more of that consistency?
Yeah, Sam brought up the point, or Vi brought up the point about Felix getting some confidence with the sack. Same things happens with DBs. Like he got some tackles, and he made some good calls, and he had the big play when we brought him on the blitz. So I think he's getting confident too, and I see that out at practice. I mean, his communication with the guys is better. And he'll get some more opportunities this week, and let's hope he can keep doing that because he's a big body that can run. I'm always teasing about how good looking he is with his curly hair, and I thought he'd be in GQ magazine someday instead of football, but he's being a better football player now. So.
And with the injuries Wampa got to start the other night, what did you see from him?
Well, that was kind of dictated by when Gilman couldn't go. Yeah, he's been steady. I mean, there's some growing pains rookie-wise with X, but he does play physical. We knew that from when he was playing at Iowa. So hopefully he can stay on that same kind of course and maybe get him some more foundational reps in this game. That'd be helpful too.
Last one, Nate.
You think you've learned?
Nate hiding in the backpack.
Yeah. You think you feel like you've learned more about Kyrus Tonga and what he could do for the overall group of the defensive line?
I tell you what, I think, he's solid as a rock. He doesn't say very much, but he's serious about his profession. He's been really good for Pete. Real serious in the way he goes. He's silent. He doesn't say very much, but he knows what he's doing, and he's physical when he does it. And, this offense we're getting ready to play here knocked us around last time we played him in the preseason. And a lot of that, when a team attacks you like that, it's really important that the inside guys are stout, and I'm hoping we can come away in this game saying that we have that, and KT's a big part of it.
How much of him was the free agency period where, he may have gone on as a under the radar signing, but what did it feel like it did for you and your group when you guys did acquire him?
Well, we knew we were pretty thin there. We were losing guys, and, Mike Pennell moved on. So it was really good early on in the free agency that Brett went out and grabbed somebody that was a big body. I had watched him on tape and really liked him. I wasn't so sure we were going to be able to get him because I thought that highly of him. And, we knew about him from BYU, with Andy's connections and whatnot. So it was good to have some insight on a guy like that. And I think he's lived up to everything we thought he would be to this point. Haven't played a game yet.
All right, so that was Steve Spagnuolo talking to the media there. Again, we're expected to hear from Patrick Mahomes at some point, hopefully within this half hour as they continue to go through some of their media availabilities, and obviously they're getting set for practice this afternoon. We might also go and hear from Eric Bieniemy here in just a second if you guys want. But as far as what Spag said there, we've talked a lot about Tonga and Peter Woods and the dynamic and who's going to be on the field more and all that.
Yep.
Clearly, Tonga not only was brought in because they needed somebody to help in run downs immediately, but we can kind of see this succession plan, can't we? Over the next year or two. Ideally, it's right. Tonga's only on a 1 or 2 year contract. Chris Jones is maybe only here for another year.
I think Woods is clearly the eventual Chris Jones replacement. Yeah. Not Tonga. You'll always need a big run stuffing defensive lineman in the middle.
But he talks about how much he's learned already from Tonga.
It's interesting because they've got Peter Woods playing, and you might have missed this. I think Peter Woods talked about it a little bit yesterday with Nate Taylor during his press availability. He's talking about 1 tech versus 3 tech and some of these other different positions across the defensive line they're having them play. The Chiefs like to move defensive linemen around. They like to move Chris Jones inside or out, FAU inside or out. Peter Woods maybe inside or out or to 2 different nose positions.
Yeah, and Spags also was asked about Felix, FAU, and now I said he's done a nice job coming off the injury, but he felt like that sack was a confidence booster because he was, quote, had a lot of catching up to do during training camp. He was behind, but maybe that sack that he just had on the preseason game gets him some more confidence. We don't know for sure Gelati's timeline, so they might be asking him and Ogba to do a hell of a lot more week 1.
And they just signed another defensive end yesterday. They're not.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
I know, but they just keep Niles King, right? They just keep bringing in more and more defensive linemen. They're obviously worried about the depth on the back end, and I think it's because Omar Norman-Lott's going to be on the pup, and Ashton Gelati's injury is unknown.
All right, let's go back out there and hear from Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy.
New week, coming off a tough loss this past weekend. There was some good throughout the course of the game, and obviously you never want to end the game the way we did on offense, the offensive side of the ball, with a turnover. But a part of this entire process is that we got to continue to evaluate, all right, and keep it moving forward. I done knocked over somebody's mic. All right, with that said, I'm all ears.
As you guys are building this thing, what do you think Ken Walker is going to mean to Patrick Mahomes in the passing game, not just with Walker, but even the downfield?
Well, I think when you have a great run game, it opens up things down the field because it tends to have people play closer to the line of scrimmage, and it just opens up things. But the thing that we need to make sure that we're focused on is making sure that we can all get on the same page and continue to build everything as we want to with the right people, but also making sure that we're getting the guys in the right positions to execute and get the things done that we want it done. And I know we're thinking ahead, but, you know, I'm thinking about today and what needs to be done. And on top of that, to making sure that we can come away with a victory this particular weekend coming up.
Eric, what stands out about Garrett? What stood out about him just since he got here and just, seeing him play a couple games?
You know what I think what has stood out with Garrett is that first and foremost, he's humble, he's hardworking, he respects the game, he respects his peers, takes a lot of good notes. I think he fits in with those guys. I think between him and Justin, and Pat and Chris, they all do a great job of over-communicating. All of those guys, there's one thing about quarterback rooms. There's normally a lot of good chemistry in there. Those guys sit around and they talk about all the different scenarios that can present itself throughout the course of the game. And they're always sharing thoughts on what they would do in a particular situation. So I like the competition that's taking place. I like where everybody is so far. Yes, could we play better? All right, at a number of positions, yes, we could. Can Garrett play better at times? Yes. I think he's had a good camp so far. I think the sky is still the limit for him. But at the end of the day, I think collectively as a group, that overall group has done a good job, and I like where they are right now.
Is there some excitement about having a guy fresh out of college? I mean, it's not been a typical thing for you guys here.
I think it's good just to have a solid roster and to have depth. And so a part of this process is the evaluation process, whether a guy is fresh out of college or he's a free agent. At the end of the day, we want the best people who happen to be the best players. That's going to give us the best chance to win. And that's where we're starting with our roster evaluation.
Eric, you're learning a lot about some of these guys, some of the guys you knew before. You got some guys who've been here that you're learning about. What have you learned about Rasheed and the work he's putting in and trying to get back on the field? And what do you think he can be this year?
Decent game. Could he have been better? Yes. Okay. Well, I know we're playing him all over the place, giving him an opportunity to show what he can do and put it on display. I got to say this on the side note. There was a point in time I know he was dog dead tired in the game, and he gave up a strip sack, and you don't celebrate this, all right? But did you see when he picked that damn ball up and took off and ran? I'm like, if you play the game like the ball was in your hand, we got a chance, okay? So that's the effort and energy that I need to see from him every single day. And, basically to get out of this critical thinking of overanalyzing and overthinking. But, we're still in that evaluation process. We still are watching our guys. And like I said, there was some good that took place, individual performances. But when it's all said and done, it's about the collective group. And at the end of the day, we always want to find a way to drag our ass across the finish line and win the game. We had that opportunity, okay? And we can't turn the ball over when it's all said and done with.
Eric, it's your first chance to coach Jalen Royals coming into his second season. How has he kind of taken what feedback you've given him through camp and applied that through these first couple preseason games?
You know what? Young Jalen has done a very good job. Every single day, you've seen him improve at something. And you talk about a kid that takes coaching. Each and every day he's working on something. I thought he did a great job of catching the ball, obviously, last week. But then just seeing what he can do after the catch, that was impressive. I thought he played strong. He did a great job of getting vertical after the catch. On top of that, he did a good job, not a great job, and I know he's going to be better at this. He did a good job of blocking downfield. So those are the little things that are standing out, and we just want to continue with that growth process.
Let's go two more, Todd.
Another one of those guys who's new to you is Josh Simmons. What have you learned about what makes him tick and have coaching?
First of all, Josh is a very athletic and talented individual. I can't tell you how many times I sit down and just watch one-on-one for about an hour just watching him play. It's actually pretty impressive. But I've learned that he's a very, very talented kid, okay? And because he's so talented, sometimes he forgets the little fundamental details that needs to be applied. So the thing that I love about him, he's a hardworking kid. He takes coaching, okay? But on top of that, he knows that he still has a lot of things that he needs to continue to work on. So a great kid. I love the fact that he reaches back to me when I text him, so that's a good thing. But I think more than anything, the kid has a future ahead, but we got to continue working on all the consistent things that's going to help him to continue to grow at this level.
Eric, all of a sudden it's Patrick's 10th season.
Wow.
Just wonder if you might reflect a little bit on your first impressions of him, but maybe also the kind of the arc of his growth and what he's become.
First impressions, obviously, it's been pretty good because I remember when he first got here and just watching practice and just watching some of the throws, and you're always amazed with some of the things that he puts on tape. But just watching the evolution of Pat from being here and then being, in a different location, the thing that I love about him, obviously, is this. He's competitive. He doesn't take anything for granted, and he loves the game. And the beauty of all that is that has not changed. And so his leadership speaks even more volumes, especially with the amount of young players that we have in that locker room. I'm very impressed with the man that he has become. With him not playing in the preseason, it could drive you crazy because obviously he's like a coach on the sideline. So, but it's a good thing because he's itching to get back out there and do whatever he can do to help us to win.
And on a specific personal level, do you still see him sort of as the same rooted guy, that even though he's grown, that you see him like still sort of being true to the person he was as a young man?
Oh yeah, that's exactly who he is. He has not changed. And you ask anybody in this building, and they'll tell you the exact same thing. So, love him.
All right, so that was Eric Bieniemy speaking to the media. Again, we are expected to hear from Patrick Mahomes hopefully in the next minute or two, but we'll keep an eye on that. At the beginning, Eric Bieniemy was asked about Rashee Rice, and the part that I think we're all wondering, Eric Bieniemy said, quote, "I believe there is another level for him," and that's the biggest question I think for Chiefs fans, other than can he stay out of trouble, is the fact that, all right, he's a number one receiver for this team. Can he submit himself as a legitimate, better half of the league number one wide receiver? Right now, he's a one because he's the one in Kansas City, but can he elevate his game? And that would mean Cody not only being a 1,000-yard receiver for the first time, but is he a 1,200-yard guy? Can he be a 1,300-yard guy, an 8-touchdown guy across the season? That's the next level. Is there another level?
It's weird because his yards per game over the last 2 years would be a 1,200-yard guy if he played, if he didn't do knucklehead stuff and get suspended or get hurt, something you can't necessarily control. But I do think that there's a part of, I just assume that if you do all these kind of stupid things off the field, then you're not working hard enough on it. You'd be too busy, is the truth. Mahomes is too busy to get in trouble off the field, trying to make sure he finds a way onto the field. And so it is, and I do think, a huge reason they were tempted to bring and did eventually bring Eric Bieniemy back was to make some sense of players like him who have talent, have produced at times, felt like they could have more potential, but have never reached it. And so I'd just like him to be a 900 or 1,000-yard guy again. I'd go back to rookie year with Rashee Rice and be fine. Based on the other talent they have around, I'll make that work. It's not perfect, but I'd make that work.
I told you, I think he's going to actually have a really good year. We know my feeling long-term about not wanting to give him a contract in Kansas City, but I do think there is another level to his game. If we're just talking on-field and his ability,
I think so too.
And this offense also doesn't hurt that they do have a better wide receiver coach around, so it's not just Eric Bieniemy, but O'Shea is there. You would like to think they can get a little bit more out of all these receivers incrementally because of that. Rashee Rice, to me, it is not out of the question that he's a 1,200-yard receiver in his career. I think this year is the year that we need to see it. I think it could happen this year. He's been very close to 1,000 yards. Can he stay on the football field? To me, if you were to guarantee me that he's playing in 16 games, even if let's say he misses the last week or whatever, he plays in 16 games. I don't think there's any scenario where he's not at least 1,000 yards in this offense. Like that would be shocking. The only way
Based
he's
on
not
the amount of targets.
the only way he's not 1,000-yard receiver again, Cody, is if he ends up playing in 12 or 14 games because he's hurt.
I think that's most likely. Or somebody else takes a huge step forward, which is unlikely.
Yeah.
By the way, we're waiting on Patrick Mahomes. We'll hear from him in a moment. The Chiefs did report while talking to the media that Kenneth Walker is not expected to practice today due to a foot issue. I don't see any other details on it at this point, but I will maintain a level of a little bit of scared. This is also,
hopefully it's just completely precautionary.
It's also 20 days till the opening game. So unless it's a severe injury, him missing a practice or two is not a big deal. He has, and I think that like Ken Walker is one of those guys who has mostly been healthy, but he also just still plays a position in which health is always a question, kind of no matter what. He's played in 17 games out of 3 of 4 years, so pretty much the entirety of the season. Played 11 2 years ago in 2024. But he has been, I would say by running back standards, really healthy. So I guess I don't overly worry about his injury history as it sits right now. But just something to keep an eye out on. He's going to miss practice today due to a foot issue. That according to Matt Derrick.
We believe that Mahomes now is going to talk a little closer to 12:30. So just a little FYI, we'll get an early break in again here. We'll come back. We'll hopefully hear from Mahomes. We'll also get to all 32, go around the NFL a bit here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Men, summertime is here, and that means vacations, summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be. And if what I'm describing is you, it's likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Heartland Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an enhanced sex drive as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
For all the things you have to do and places you need to be, let Uber take you there. Because you had just one more 3 rounds ago. Because the 5 a.m. flight seemed like a good idea at the time. Because check engine lights always appear at the worst possible times. And because parking downtown is a nightmare. Because there are nights out, airport trips, and car troubles in your area, there are drivers in your area. Uber. Request a ride today. Wait time varies. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event.
Get up to 0% on select 2026 Subaru models for up to 72 months.
And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. The Subaru A Lot to Love event.
VIN number 4S4SLD L61T3038472. Based on 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Imagine buying your next car from one dealership.
With the support of many.
With everything you'll ever need.
When you buy from any of the Balderson Auto Group dealerships, you're getting the support from all of our dealerships.
Like our 100 service bays, collision, and detail centers.
And our free exclusive lifetime warranty. No other auto group gives you that.
From north, central, south, the Balderston Auto Group has you covered.
A family committed to
excellence, growth,
and harmony.
Go to bagkc.com.
While enjoying family and friends this Labor Day, be sure to open the gates with Gates Extra Hot Sauce. It's great on spinach, asparagus, broccoli, and more. Also, be sure to use Gates Hot and Spicy seasonings on fresh fruit, vegetables, popcorn, and nuts, while enhancing your salad dressings with Gates Hot and Spicy seasoning for the extra flavor pop. Pick these up at your local grocer, and if you don't see them, ask for them. Make Gates a part of your Labor Day. Proudly serving Kansas City for 80 years. Thanks, with love.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you washed that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, no, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This report is brought to you by Bet365. Winning is everything.
With Bet365 early payout, you win even if they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Missouri.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We are awaiting Patrick Mahomes still. Hopefully in the next 5 to 10 minutes, we will hear from Patrick Mahomes. We'll also get to the random question of the day in the next 20 minutes here on Cody and Gold. But let's get to all 32, go around the NFL a little bit. Look, I was starting to go through more of our, preseason bets. Next week is Futures Week at the station, so you'll start seeing on social media a lot more of our preseason predictions, although those will not be based on betting odds, just a heads up. But we're headed to Vegas later this week. We'll be out at Circa. I'm sure we'll make a bet or two on some futures while we're there.
Typically do while we're sitting at the sportsbook. Protector of the year. I got to get my annual vote in for Creed Humphrey.
Well, one of my favorite bets I just placed this week, actually, involves the AFC South. And now it's got a little juice to it, I'll admit. It's minus 170. So
okay.
that's a little bit of juice. But the Colts to miss the playoffs. You can do make or miss playoff odds. The Colts are minus 170 to miss the playoffs.
I don't have a scenario in which they make it.
Look, last year they got off to a great start. We all know that. They started to fade before even Daniel Jones got hurt. Jonathan Taylor was awesome the first month and a half of the season. They all faded as an entire unit. I think Shane Steichen's in danger of getting fired at some point this season. The Colts open up home to Baltimore, at Kansas City, home to the Colts, at the Commanders, at Pittsburgh, home to the Titans. That's their first month or so of the season. I think Daniel Jones is not going to look nearly as good as he ever did last year. And I just think Alec Pierce is still there. They signed him to extension. They move on from Michael Pittman Jr. I'm just not sold on the Colts at all. And they're going to make the playoffs when they got a Jags team that's still very good in that division. The Texans, yes, question with C.J. Stroud, but that defense is as good as it gets in the NFL. The Titans should be better. I just don't see it, man. I love that bet. It's one of my favorite bets of the year. Colts not to make the playoffs.
I agree. They're not making the playoffs. And minus 170, that's not bad at all. I was looking at a different AFC team, and one of the ones I think will be a bigger problem amongst the AFC elite, and a team I think currently I would pick to win the AFC East. That's the Patriots. And I'll admit, part of the reason why is I think A.J. Brown is going to be awesome. He is great at 1 year, 2 years sample size of just ripping your head off. He was great immediately as a rookie in Tennessee. His first 2 years in Philly, in what I would call a run-first offense.
Yeah.
We're 1,500 yards each and around 8 to 9 touchdowns per season. He's in an offense that suits him better, even though he's coming off of 2 years that are significantly lower than either of those first 2 years in Philly. He's good at keeping his nose clean for the first few years before he pisses everyone off and doesn't want to be there anymore. And he's only 28, 29 years old. And so I just feel like for at least this year, A.J. Brown is going to dominate. He just looked mad to play Philly in a practice the other day.
Yeah.
He was taking it out on him. I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to want to take it out of the league for a little bit.
Do they play
He's
each
a
other
problem
this year? Do we know if the Patriots play the Eagles?
They just played in preseason last Saturday, so I don't know if they do.
Eagles.
I know the Chiefs happen to play similar opponents, but I don't think so.
I don't know if they play each other. I just think he's going to be great.
They just did. It doesn't look like
Hey, real quick.
Not in the regular season.
I'll give you my all 32 because Pat is stepping up to the mic.
Okay.
Mike Washington Jr., I think, is the goods. I don't know how much the Raiders are actually going to miss Ashton Genty while he's out with a sprained ankle.
I don't think Genty's going to miss any time.
Sounds like it's
Mike
a low
Washington
ankle.
Jr. might be. That's going to be a good running back duo. That man looks really,
he's
really,
gonna be good.
really good.
He's going to be good. I just don't think I don't think Genty's going to miss games.
Oh,
So.
well, perfect. I guess good for the Raiders in that sense.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they can block for him, I guess. But if you're a Chiefs fan, you don't want Mike Washington Jr. to work out. I guess.
That is what's true. That is all 32. All right, guys, let's go out to the podium. Patrick Mahomes speaking to the media.
About wanting to play. What are the pros and cons for you as you look at it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know because I haven't not played in the preseason before, and so I think for me it's just preparing just like a game week every single week. You know, this week we've kind of treated this more like a game week, and so being able to go in that same process, having a Wednesday practice yesterday and then a Thursday practice today, and take my notes the same, watch the same film that I would usually watch. I think that's kind of how I prepare, and so then get out there on the practice field and treat every rep like it's the most important rep. I think if you can do that, you'll be ready to go whenever you get that opportunity to go out there in the game.
How do you see your own best case scenario for whether you want to play this week and what that will do or not do for you if you don't?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the best case scenario is, honestly. I mean, never came off an injury like this, never had been in this situation before. So all I can do is prepare myself the best way I can, and that's just getting the most out of every single day and staying on top of the rehab process as well as going out there and practicing at a high level. And so I think if I do that, whenever that opportunity comes, I'll be ready to go.
Has the rehab process changed much, Patrick, since training camp began? We heard about you being here 7-8 hours a day during the off season. How much of that is altered because you're now in the practice?
Yeah, I just got to be up a lot earlier, so I'm still getting the rehab stuff done. Getting in here super early in the morning, kind of knocking some stuff out then going to meetings. And after meetings before practice, just kind of like right now, just go back and get some more work in. Same with after practice and stuff like that. And so it's just some more time. Luckily for me, I've kind of done a lot of the workout stuff with Bobby and stuff like that in the past, and so it's not like it's too much for my body. I've prepared my body for it. It's just a little different how we do our workouts, and then getting my time with Bobby on the side as well, not trying to overdo it, but still be on top of my game.
You mentioned at the beginning of camp that you had several checkpoints that you wanted to hit along the way. Have you felt like you've hit all those checkpoints?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I haven't missed any reps. Getting to go out there day after day and kind of have the grind of a camp. I mean, that could even be harder than the season. Of just wear and tear on your body and going back out there and doing it again the next day. And so, it's been awesome for me to be able to go out there and do that. Exciting. I didn't know if I was going to have to take days off and stuff like that, but my body's responded the right way. And so haven't had to miss anything other than the preseason games. But even for those, I'm going through the warm-up process, trying to make myself prepared. And so I just don't get the one series or whatever it would be. But other than that, I've done every single rep.
Are you still texting with Zach Ertz?
I haven't texted him during camp. I've been logged in throughout camp, but I know he's still working. I saw him throwing with Andrew Luck recently, so I know he's working too. And so, kind of those St. Joe dorm rooms, man, you don't get a lot of text messages. I just try to make sure I text Brittany. If I text Brittany, I'm usually in a good spot.
You mentioned that you guys have proven a test to the Dallas surgeon to get cleared for practice. Is there another test before regular season, or are you good to go when Rick is?
Honestly, don't know the exact answer. I know that we talk to the doc a lot and kind of just tell him how I'm feeling. He trusts Julie a ton of her examining me day to day, stuff like that. But I think as long as I can continue to go out there and feel good and trust my body and be able to go out there and be myself, I think I'm gonna be good to go. But that's probably a better question for Rick to answer.
So mentally, have you had to do anything differently out there on the practice field, like maybe not run a little bit harder or make a cut or anything like that Or where are you there on
Yeah, I try not to. I try to not make those hard cuts and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'm a competitor, and it's like kind of just takes over sometimes. And so you want to still prove to yourself that you can do it. And I've been able to do that in certain spots, making quick cuts, making reactionary cuts, which I think is the biggest thing when it comes to this, and felt great doing it. And so I think more than anything, it's just about working throughout the pocket, finding the comfortable spot in the pocket, and making the throws. And I feel like I had a really good training camp doing that. And the other stuff has kind of come natural to me. It's not like I'm thinking about it though. It's just kind of happens.
like after practice, whatever, hard day practice, long drive, whatever, feel any different than you felt 2 years ago? Does your knee feel the same?
No, I think honestly, the more we practice, the better I feel. I feel like I think sometimes when I take the days off and you don't do anything is when you might feel some soreness or whatever that is. But when we kind of started getting in the groove of practice, it's like every day I came back to practice, I feel even better and even better. And so I got to learn through that process. And so now the days off, I make sure to come in and do some type of mobility, some type of work with Julie, just kind of get the range of motion going. And I think I found a good spot now that after some of these days off, I felt better and better. And so that's stuff that I'll have to learn throughout the year. But I think it's a positive that the more work that I do, the better I feel.
Do you feel hesitant at all? I mean, we heard you during the preseason game that you wanted to be out there, but is there any sort of hesitance in your mind that holds you back at all?
There hasn't been yet. You know, like I've obviously haven't played in the game and been able to get hit, but having people around me and competing and doing stuff like that, it's almost like I do everything I naturally do, and then after, it's kind of like the coaches come to me like, hey, like let's calm down a little bit. It's just like being a competitor, I want to go out there and win. I want to go out there and give everything I have for the team, and so I haven't had any hesitancy kind of throughout the plays. It's kind of the coaches talking to me after and telling me, we're just practicing. It's not a real live game. And so other than that, we've been good.
Nate? Patrick, you've come back from injuries before, you be faster than the average player. How much of that experience gives you the ability to visualize what it will be like on opening night?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's really like it's 9 months. I mean, it's the amount of time they said from the very beginning that if I did everything the right way, I would be ready to play week one. And it's just been about being a plan. I'm someone that you put something out in front of me, I want to go out and get it. And I want to go out and maximize every single opportunity, every rep in the weight room, every hour that I can spend in the building to get my body right. And so this has always been the plan: is be ready for training camp, get all the reps in training camp, prepare your body that way, so that when you get to week one, you're ready to play the game and you've had the right amount of time off. And so from the day that I got the surgery, as quick as I did, to hopefully the first game of the year, the plan will go accordingly, and I'll be able to go out there and be myself.
Last three, go ahead. Patrick, you usually point to the need to get hit before game. Do you feel that more or less because of this situation, or do you just not have it in your mind?
I don't really have it in my mind. I mean, obviously, I always say that because it kind of locks you in. When you get that first hit, it almost like kind of locks you into like, all right, we're playing football again, everything like that. But I feel like the last few preseason games, we've been so good blocking and throughout these drives that I haven't taken that hit, and so it'll be kind of that same type of experience. But at the end of the day, when we're going that week one, if I'm able to kind of get through this process and be able to play, that we'll be going up against one of the best defenses in the league, and so I'll have to be ready to go no matter what it is.
And you look like you had pretty good burst getting out there to Butker on the.
That's why I just like at the end of the day, I just like love football. Like it's such a cool sport where it takes everybody, and so. Him hitting that field goal, I mean, I was excited, I think, as he was. And so it's just like seeing your teammates succeed, and I want to have fun and just enjoy being out there on the football field again. And so I was pretty excited about that.
Speaking of loving football, we saw you running the scout looks yesterday. I guess what type of joy do you take when you have that role?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just another rep, Like I'm getting to compete against the defense, and no matter if it's going first or if it's getting an extra rep on scout team or whatever that is, I'm gonna compete. Like that's just who I am, and I like being able to go out there and go against Chris Jones because it's always fun talking trash to him. So that's always a good time.
Sam?
Patrick, you played with a lot of rookies before, receivers like Xavier and Rashid, and then pretty much your whole offensive line. What is required when you're going to depend on a rookie, whether it's Cyrus this year, maybe Khalil? Like, what's sort of required to help integrate a rookie to be ready?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be mistakes, but I think it's just about them learning quickly, and then trusting the guys to go out there and do their job and make the plays. The coaches aren't going to put them in there unless they're ready to go, and they have to know that too. And so they just got to go out there and be themselves and play the game the way they've always played it, and play it hard, and go out there and cut it loose. You know, like a lot of times you don't want the thinking. The thinking's where you get in trouble. It's you got here for a reason. So go out there and execute that.
Good, thanks, Patrick.
All right, so that was Patrick Mahomes speaking to the media there. He was asked a couple times just about off-season work from the injury, availability heading into the season. He said he hadn't missed a single day of work since training camp. Quote, "It's been awesome for me able to do that. I haven't had to miss anything other than the preseason games. I've done every single practice rep." We'll have to wait till tomorrow to get official confirmation on his status for Friday against Seattle. But he even admitted, he was asked, like, so are you cleared to play in a game? He's like, honestly, I don't know how exactly if there's another hurdle for me. He's like, you'd have to ask Rick.
I mean, I'm assuming
everybody's
that's
just assuming.
I mean, that sounds.
Everybody's just assuming.
Okay,
he's
put
playing.
Rick up there so we can know, I guess.
But that also sounds like, not that he's not ready yet, but it sounds like there's more question into what I think we all believe is that they're either they're playing us and they're just playing the game, or they're actually we're not exactly sure if he's going to be ready yet here in a couple weeks.
I just think if we're being down to like the technicality of it, I don't think he has actually been told face to face by Rick Burkholter that you are cleared to play an NFL game. Maybe that hasn't happened.
But they also probably haven't told him he's not cleared.
Correct.
You know,
and he also has
sense.
done every single practice rep with no limitation.
He said the more we practice, the better I feel.
Yeah.
Said he hasn't missed a single rep, has hit every single possible benchmark imaginable that he'd set ahead of himself. But he is talking like a guy, I don't think he straight up said it. He's absolutely talking like a guy who sure as hell's not playing Friday.
Right.
Right? I mean, does any part of that indicate?
Yeah, for sure.
That talks like a man who knows he got to wait till week one to get on a football field. He's not talking like somebody getting ready for a game on Friday against the Rams or Seahawks.
Seahawks. Yeah.
Seahawks.
He's not playing, I don't think, Friday. He also said, to your point about the physical check marks or benchmarks, whatever you want to call it, he said, quote, "Yeah, I haven't missed any reps. I didn't know if I was going to have to take days off, but my body's responded the right way." He hasn't had to take it. I mean, he didn't miss a single practice, guys. Didn't miss a single one. He had the one vet day off after the rookie minicamp portion, but that would happen for every vet. Like, that was a normal thing.
Other than that, he's taken the full amount of reps he had planned on taking. He practiced every single day. Like, think about all the guys who missed practice. Like today, Ken Walker's going to miss practice for a foot issue, or Gelati hasn't been available, or Drew Tranquil missed a week, or whatever, right? The people who have missed time for any variety of reasons. He's coming off a serious knee injury. He hasn't had to miss a single day.
Yeah.
He's been available every single day. Like, I'd be stunned he didn't play week one. Stunned.
Yes.
But he shouldn't play on Friday.
Correct. Yeah. The full quote from Mahomes on this was, "I think as long as I can continue to go out there and feel good and trust my body, go out there and be myself, I think I'm going to be good to go." Yeah. And there's been so many signs of this. I mean, I don't even, to me, it's not really a full-blown conversation anymore about week one. Like, if anything, it would be one of the more shocking things to happen in 3 months for the Chiefs if, in fact, Mahomes suddenly was not available week one. That'd be shocking.
Somebody mentioning that if Trey Smith doesn't play or Josh Simmons can't go, then they shouldn't put him out there. Essentially, like
Trey Smith will be playing because he's already practicing again.
Man. Even if they don't play, you play the quarterback because it's a regular season game. It's a division game.
It's different.
I agree.
It's totally different.
Life is life at that point.
I'm with you,
gotta.
Yeah, especially with the division game. Like if I know that they could lose if he's fully healthy and everything like that, but just to think that you're basically punting on an opportunity to be atop your division. Because the offensive lineman isn't out there.
I'm with you.
Silly.
I guess what's the argument against like holding him out to? Like, think about this. He would have participated in every single off-season Chiefs activity from May until September 14th. And then you're going to be like, we'd like to let that injury heal another week. 2 weeks? Like, what's 14 days doing at that point?
Yeah, no.
To me, the injury risk is the same, you know?
Of course there's a risk. We're all going to hold our breath the first time he's tackled low or has to run out of a tackle or whatever it may be. It'll be nerve-wracking. That's going to happen no matter what. There's no reason to risk it in a preseason game, but of course you do in the regular season. I also think Trey Smith, who this will be 2 days in a row that he's practicing, I think Trey Smith's going to be just fine for week one. Josh Simmons is the one who has not practiced yet.
Between Simmons and also Benton being out there on the outside, if it's him or Jalen Moore, that's where your worry should lie. Forget Trey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I guess I'm just not. I don't know.
Texan says, Gold, you're definitely getting your free money. Mahomes is playing.
Yeah, I think he's playing.
Yeah. The listener earlier today was adamant that Mahomes is not playing for weeks. And I said, let's make a bet.
Where's the Dr. Chow video, breaking down the press conference?
Been a little more quiet on that one. Breaking down the press conference. Is Gate
leaving
the press conference?
Someone else says, what do you plan on doing with $100 you're about to win? Look, I told you.
You might as well just put it on red or black there and try to You know it's coming in.
I should have bet $1,000 with the listener, honestly, if we're
Does he
being
have
real.
$1,000?
I don't know. The listener was very confident. Normally, we don't make bets with listeners, quite honestly, because it's very
it's easy for you not to pay up.
Yeah, like you know where to find us, right? You can hold us accountable. The reality is, we've had issues in the past where it's very easy for people to just disappear when they lose the bet with us. Whereas if we lose the bet, we'll obviously pay it out because for a variety of reasons. One, I would pay my bet anyway, but also you know where to find us. So this individual, I said, give me your first and last name, phone number, and all that, and the bet is locked in. If Mahomes plays week 1, the listener owes me $100. I don't know why the person, unless this person somehow, I don't know what information would make you think that. After everything that we've heard, everything we've seen, that he's not playing week 1. Like, legitimately, what would be, like, what is the legitimate answer other than, like, your vibes?
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
What's the real answer of what would make you think he's not playing week 1? There is no documented reason to suggest that he's not. Because even if you want to say, well, that'd be too early, as Mahomes just said, it's still technically on the 9-month window. Now, I've maintained I don't think he'll be full blown 100% Patrick Mahomes doing everything we would possibly see, prime of his career, Super Bowl running down the field, that kind of stuff week 1 immediately. But he's 100% as in he will be ready to play a football.
I think it's like, and somebody said, hey, look, he's not Joe Burrow. Look, I appreciate the shot all the same. But, like, to be clear, Mahomes is nowhere close to anybody being injury prone, and it's not Burrow set aside.
Can I also go ahead and
what?
He's the wrong example to use in this scenario when he came off a torn ACL, MCL, and meniscus and beat Mahomes and went to the Super Bowl the very next year.
He's not the wrong example because he's a guy who's commonly hurt. Patrick Mahomes has played in 16, 14, 15, 17, 17, 16, 16, and 14
The concept he doesn't have that dog, and he's made of tougher stuff.
I don't think it's the tougher stuff part, but I just think Joe Burrow is more likely to be hurt. Patrick Mahomes has had, like little injuries here and there. He had the knee thing that cost him 2 games, I think is all it cost him.
Yeah, the Broncos dislocated kneecap thing.
In the 2019 season. Other than that, the only games he misses is when they don't have to play him anymore in week 18 of a regular season. Those are the only games he misses. Hell, even last year he got hurt. He only ended up missing 3 games because of the injury. 3.5.
That's late. Well, the injury happened late in the year.
Yeah. So, but he's going to play week 1.
Yeah.
So, after all that, he's going to suffer what will be his first bad injury, but it's going to be at the right time, apparently, because the team was going nowhere.
That 9-month window worked out well where the window fit. I mean, if they would have made it to if they made it to the Super Bowl and he got hurt, he would not be playing week 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Correct.
It could have been, he could have lost a season the same as other quarterbacks have lost a season.
No, the timing was very
fortunate.
fortunate.
They got perfectly to fit the 9-month window.
The timing was perfect.
In a lost season, too. They weren't going to go anywhere. So, maybe they're just lucky. I know it's a serious injury, so you're how can it be that? By serious injury standards, they lost him for 3 meaningless football games, and he's going to be back for week 1 of meaningful football. That doesn't seem all that bad to me for a major injury, even if you're scared about the first hit the guy takes. But we'll see what comes next of it.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew, over on the text line, 913-586-7965. And, of course, over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. We live stream the show, interact with you over there as well, where you can, give your opinions, like and subscribe, pop to the top of your feed. No reason to ever miss the show in any area. We were asking earlier about the rivalry uniforms. We were talking a little bit about the ones we thought looked good, the ones that don't. I don't like the Jaguar paw print on the pants of the Jaguars one, but I like it okay. But yesterday, while we were on the show, there was a different collaboration for everybody in the NFL. Disney and the NFL have put out a full series collaboration between every NFL team and there. And what I want to know from you is there any universe in which you would purchase the Chiefs one? You can tell me the ones you like or dislike after that amongst the other 31 NFL teams. I think the Chiefs one might be one of the 2 or 3 worst in this entire collection. They gave him the big bad wolf. That's what they got? Do they not even know the history of Chiefsaholic? The big bad wolf is the one you went with after all this. 1, it's a cartoon from a million years ago, so it doesn't even look cool on a shirt. 2nd, it's just a bad collab. It's just I don't know.
Who else they going with,
So I would, to answer your question directly, no, I would not buy this T-shirt. I also think it fits more than you believe, given the Chiefsaholic track record. So I actually think the wolf makes a lot of sense.
You think it actually fits better?
Yeah.
They got more with it?
Yeah.
Did you see the Lions is just literally Mufasa, but in the Lions logo
perfect.
color.
That's perfect.
Oh, it's great. Same shape,
The
same angle.
The Seahawks one is good too.
It's the best one.
The Seagull or whatever. Yeah.
The Seagull's great. I think, look, and at least like if you're the Falcons, you get the Millennium Falcon, right? So if you're just like a big Star Wars fan, that collab probably hits for you. That one is at least good. They got the lamest Disney character in existence.
But it is true, like to Drew's point. Who else? What else did you want?
I don't know. Anybody.
What other Disney character would have fit?
Anybody.
No.
No.
I don't
even want it to fit. I'll take Cinderella.
There was one.
Take anybody.
There was Cinderella. Okay.
There was one in particular that would never on Earth be used or should be used, and that's
we're not. Yeah, they're not going.
They're not going to Peter Pan. No, we're not going in that direction.
They've shifted.
They've
shifted away from the Native American.
Cody wants to. They're asking you if you wanted Pocahontas or something.
See that. That's no
but they get to the point is, what else did you want?
I don't think there's anything else you could have gotten.
I mean, there's not a single other character that's like.
Cody, do you? I'm curious now because we mentioned the Little Mermaid earlier. Do you appreciate the Dolphins one with King Triton from the Little Mermaid?
Yeah, that one's great.
Okay.
The ones that are just
minus the bra, but yes,
look,
obviously
they did Darth Vader for the Raiders. That's just a home run. And there's already gear that exists with that, so they're not having to like work all that hard for that collaboration. But that one just works.
The Jets Buzz Lightyear one's kind of cool.
The Triton one works.
The Chiefs one's just hard to find a fit, honestly.
The Steelers might be the only one worse than the Chiefs. They got Bluto from Goofy. That's it. That's the only one they could find.
Yeah, won't be buying the shirt.
There's not. You said won't be buying the shirt.
Yeah.
I just want to know if there's anybody who will be. 913-586-7965. Is there a single listener listening to this sports radio show that is interested in that shirt for either yourself or for your kid? Like, my kid has a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shirt from, like, Breaking Tea that's Raphael that says Chiefs on it, right? It's Raphael and, like, Chief stuff. So it's not like I'm anti-buying, like, slightly more fun or, like, kid stuff that also included it. By the way, the single best one was Captain Hook for the Buccaneers.
Yeah. But that's an easy pairing.
It is an easy pairing.
Like, the Broncos had Maximus, the horse from
Yeah. And they did the
Tangled.
pink for the Commanders.
The Chargers,
Toy Story.
The Chargers did Hercules and Pegasus. I mean,
There's
the
so
shirt
many
looks
ones that
nice.
are awesome. What's Cincinnati's?
Shere Khan. The only option you could have.
Shere Khan.
I do think
Okay.
the
Just a big bad wolf. He's just such a lame ass
the Commanders doing Ham from Toy Story is actually pretty good.
Someone says Chiefs one looks like a knockoff store brand cereal mascot.
That's what happens when you have Casey Wolf as your mascot. You know?
We chose Casey Wolf, and now we're just stuck with all
The
wolf-related
Panthers
things,
one-
robberies or otherwise.
I think the Panthers one is strong as well. They got Bagheera.
Yeah, a lot of people
Jungle Book,
texting in
obviously.
Wizard of Oz. I do not believe that's Disney, guys. I don't think.
think
Is
so
it? I don't believe so. So that was not really an
The
option.
one of the weirdest ones at first with the Cardinals did Jafar from Aladdin.
Oh.
But obviously having the parrot, but at the same time,
That one's no
you're
good.
You're not.
I mean,
The Rams doing Sully also is crazy.
Yeah,
there's not a ram or a goat or like a sheep.
I agree.
In Disney?
But I'm telling you right now, I would have taken just like the random pairing. Like, why do you have Timon and Pumbaa? Because we feel like it.
Yeah, I just don't know what else you expected the Chiefs to use here. There's no other really pairing of Disney character.
You don't think there's a single other one? Other than if you start going with imagery they've been trying to separate themselves from for a long time?
The best one is Seattle, though.
Yep.
Like, I can't get, what about like
just is.
the Chippendale Rescue Ranger that just kind of looks like Andy Reid? I can't get that. I'll take anything. I'll take anything over the one that they chose.
No.
It's terrible. Someone says he should have done Wreck-It Ralph. I would have preferred that, but he's on a different one. He's on the Giants one, I think. Someone says they want
really?
Iron Man for the red and yellow. How about that? That's Disney. Could we've got Iron Man?
The Steelers should have done Iron Man. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah, what the hell? How did they give him blue?
That's right
though?
there, Drew.
That's just but Iron Man's Chiefs colors. He's red and yellow.
That
Red and
is
gold.
fair.
He's red and gold.
That's true.
Can we not get Iron Man? Iron Man would have been way cooler. Everybody's like, yeah, there's just no way they could have done Pocahontas or like
No
anybody
way.
who grew up in
Absolutely
the 90s
not.
and did Indian in the Cupboard. They got rid of all of that stuff in their stadium, and for good reason.
Yep.
You can't do that. But Iron Man, yeah. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of one, but that's just a layup.
Someone said Kermit the Frog.
That would be
That would have been-
crazy.
That would have been.
I mean, that's Disney. That's Disney.
How many of those
But
shirts
that
would be
Disney.
bought? How many of those shirts would I?
They would have sold a lot. They would have sold a lot.
I think they would have too.
That would have been.
It actually would have been great, though. It really would have been.
Someone said the Chiefs should have been Cusco from Emperor's New Groove. That's what the Rams should have been.
Yeah, that would have made more sense too, I guess.
Than Sully, just because he has horns.
I'm not kidding.
He's a monster.
I would have preferred anybody to that character.
I just think
anybody.
I just only like it. The only part I would not buy it, but it not only Casey Wolf, but at least it is the Chiefsaholic bank robbery tie-in. Because you know Disney, that's what they were going for. Yeah,
I remember Big Bad Wolf in this town. There's no way anybody at Disney understood. They just knew that they had a wolf mascot. No way they knew anything about these bank robberies.
Yeah, somebody suggested the thing from Peter Pan I was talking about. Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. That is the worst thing they could have chosen.
2026, they're never picking that, guys.
That's the worst thing they could have chosen.
Come on now. All right, up next, that's the Ram question of the day. Up next, let's get back into Patrick Mahomes, but the national narrative about his performance the rest of his career. Have we already seen the best? We'll do that next.
This is Cody and Gold. Tune in to hear the play-by-play with Mitch, Danon, and Kling all season long on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
You already live for football. The jerseys, the Sundays, the bets you sweat all week. At Fanatics Sportsbook, we see it, and we reward you for it. Every bet you place earns fan cash. Win, lose, or push. Spend it on the jersey you've been eyeing. Tickets so close you can hear the play call. A rookie card you never sell. Or your next parlay. From your next bet to your next great sports memory, Fanatics delivers it all. Rewards hit different here. Plus, new customers can bet and get up to $1,000 in fan cash. Fanatics, the only sports book to reward every bet. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. CT, call 888-789-7777. MA, call 800-327-5050. NY, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. MD, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Based on leading U.S. sportsbook analysis, July 2026. Offer not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatics app for details.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale is back. The tires at cost sale. That's right. You pay what we pay on any in-stock tires from Telly's huge inventory. Our certified techs will even mount and balance them for only $30 per tire. All that plus a 30-day ride guarantee and lifetime tire protection. Gas and grocery prices may be going up, but there's never been a better time to buy tires. Reserve yours now at TELLEtire.com before our sale ends. Take care of your car. Take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
If you're looking for a new job and to work for a great local company, Gann Asphalt and Concrete is hiring. Top pay in the industry, health, vision, dental insurance, paid time off, and advancement opportunities. Check them out at GannAsphalt.com. One contractor, all things parking lot.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
Danon Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days,
but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're gonna love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Dane and Hughes. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
This afternoon, expect a high of 89 with partly sunny skies.
Weather brought to you by Duke's Mayo. Welcome to Duke's Mayo Country, where the mayo is so smooth and creamy, it makes every bite better. Duke's Mayo. Look for the yellow lid.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast.
Pump up the volume.
When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
It's time to get everything you need for the job from one partner. No more juggling vendors. We've got your entire job supply covered. Supply the entire job with job lot quantities of everything you need, from flooring to roofing, with access to thousands of products not available in stores. More products mean more colors, sizes, and finishes, so you can get exactly what you need to get the job done. Learn more at the Pro Desk, the Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
Hey, it's Brew, and between my radio show, filming content, editing videos, and trying to stay connected with family, reliable Wi-Fi isn't really optional anymore. I just need it to work. And that's why I like that with Xfinity, you get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years, guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, Xfinity makes getting connected simple with same-day Wi-Fi so you can get online in minutes. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity. Imagine that.
We're making all of our season-long NFL predictions during Futures Week, starting August 31st, right here on 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
1 o'clock hour. Unfortunately, some sad news during the break. The reason why we're bumping back with this is Dolly Parton passed away at the age of 80, the queen of country music. Her nephew put out a video announcing on behalf of the family, unfortunately, her passing at the age of 80. Obviously, an absolute legend in the music space. And I know there were some rumblings, even 6 months ago or so, that she maybe wasn't the healthiest. But passing away at the age of 80.
Yeah, not Dolly Parton.
Yeah, man.
That's awful.
Yeah, that sucks to see.
Just so many massive hits, and did a bunch of good things over time with she was a good person who did good things for people over the course of time too, and literacy with children and a million other things.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of really, really, really important stuff. So that's awful.
Back in September of last year, she announced that she would not follow through on a 6-show residency she had scheduled for Caesar's Palace because she was dealing with some health issues. That was going to be her long-awaited return to the concert stage. And so that was kind of the first sign that perhaps her health wasn't the best. And then, she did not participate, I guess, in the Motion Picture Academy's Governor Awards back in November. So she had been dealing with some health issues the last 10 to 12 months or so.
R.I.P. to an absolute,
25 number one country singles.
Crazy. You gonna listen to some Dolly on the way home?
Maybe I'll go on Spotify
right,
real quick and pop in a few. Yeah.
Just really.
Are you gonna sing? Are you gonna sing a song? Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna sing a Dolly Parton song, Cody? After we heard the morning show sing this morning, I don't know.
Don't play that. Not on this time.
Are you gonna sing?
I don't know.
Dolly
I've never
Parton
done a Dolly Parton song. Mm-hmm. Never done a country song. We discussed that.
This could be your chance.
We discussed that not that
long ago. You could honor her.
Yeah, take one of Pat. I was gonna say, don't do one of Dolly's instrumentals. You can take one of Pat's and remake it to be better, according to you.
Yeah.
Really awful.
Yeah, that's tough.
Well, that'll just put a damper on the whole rest of the show. But we'll play some more Dolly coming back from break if we get a chance. I guess maybe, or more later in the week. Normally we come back with what's trending at 1:30, but at These come back into there. Let's talk a little bit about the Chiefs. You had mentioned Patrick Mahomes going to break.
Yep.
And what people are saying about him. I think statistically there's an argument here, but I'm going to tell you why this argument from Colin Cowherd is very flawed.
What if we have seen the best of Patrick Mahomes, so he enters the league, the O-line has a Pro Bowler at left tackle and right tackle, Andy Reid's in his coaching prime, his wide receiver tight end group is an A, the division stunk. Now it's Harbaugh and Herbert, Bo Nix and Sean Payton, Mendoza, Clint Kubiak are interesting. The wide receiver room has been sketchy for years. The run game, which was anemic the last several years, Travis Kelce is now probably in his last year at 36. I think people are forgetting what has happened to Patrick Mahomes over the last 3 years. His passer rating's lower than Russell Wilson in that time. So is it the roster or is it Mahomes?
So I'm going to point out real quick, that stat is very flawed. They do have a very similar passer rating over the last 3 years, Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has 6,000 additional passing yards, 40 additional touchdowns. So I don't want to make it seem like passer rating is somehow like lifting Russ up into the category over the last 3 years. And the stat that I pointed out earlier today, that over the last 3 years, Patrick Mahomes averages 4,300 yards a season and 27.5 touchdowns. That would rank him top 5 in both categories just last year for both passing yards and touchdown. I don't think you guys realize how few quarterbacks every year throw 30 or more passing touchdowns. It's not that many. It's very few. He throws for more yards and more touchdowns just about anybody in the league on average, even over the last 3 years when you think he's taking a dip. The bigger problem I actually have with this, other than the massive statistical anomalies he's just ignoring in this, is that trying to kill off a guy like Patrick Mahomes is being like, well, maybe we just seen the best. That has been a mistake for the rest of the time. It's LeBron James joking about that guy who sent out the tweet to be like, LeBron James finally in his 30s, I don't have to put up with this much longer. And then he laughs at it every single year. Or the people who, you and I think included, during the time we were doing sports radio, I absolutely thought at 36 years old, 37 years old, or whatever it was, Tom Brady was done. I thought he was done. He won multiple Super Bowls after that. I'm done counting out all-time greats. That's the mistake. All-time greats, I don't count them out.
Yeah, I do think a lot of the rules don't apply to Patrick Mahomes for that reason. I'll say this, and we were discussing earlier. Look, I think the concern is that will there be the weapons as Mahomes ages? Will there be the weapons around him that are necessary to get to Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl again? That's more than fair. I think we all have acknowledged. Look at the prior wide receiver room from a year or so ago and how many of those guys are not going to have jobs in the NFL this year. Hollywood Brown, I believe, just got cut by the Eagles or is not going to factor in. He's struggling to make a roster out there in Philadelphia. Sky Moore's battling for a roster spot. McCole Hardman's battling for a roster spot. Juju Smith-Schuster's a free agent. So I think it's more than fair to wonder, hey, do they surround him with more talent moving forward? But I disagree on the notion of, we've already seen the best of Patrick Mahomes if you're saying it's because you just don't think he's as good as a quarterback and can't bounce back from last year, which clearly was a mess all the way around for everybody. Because when you look at Mahomes, if we're only going to judge him, and I think some of these people are, off of, well, he's never going to have 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns again. Well, then if that's the barometer, then yeah, I agree. Maybe we won't ever see that again, Cody. But that's a crazy bar that we're setting if we're going to say that's the level we're discussing.
And I guess just part of this is like, I think in that argument, if you really wanted to make that argument, then you could make it about every single quarterback in the NFL. That there are three, like Joe Burrow's first 3 seasons are better statistically than his last 3 seasons, believe it or not, even though one of those seasons, he was awesome. And so
probably can do the same thing for Allen and Lamar. Have we already seen their best football?
Absolutely, you can. And look, I don't want to I understand that people miss time, so you can't go game for game or anything else besides there because Mahomes and Russell Wilson have actually played a similar number of games over that time. But even the guys that you in your head, you're like, oh, they're playing so much better during that time. Patrick Mahomes has the same yards per game. Let's use that as a barometer to, let's say, for instance, for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, who hasn't played as many games, so Mahomes has more yards over the last 3 years. Joe Burrow, you're like, well, he's been awesome, right? Patrick Mahomes has been not as good. Mahomes has been awesome. He, during that time, is a 2.1, Patrick Mahomes, a 2.1 interception rate and is averaging 254 yards per game. Burrow's averaging 248 and has a 1.8 interception rate. I mean, it's not like we're trying to make it seem like they're night and day. Patrick Mahomes is playing like still one of the most elite quarterbacks in the year. He's just not a statistical anomaly anymore. He's not like a completely different universe. And I would say that is almost largely due to weapons. Gold, how many guys did Patrick Mahomes throw to from 23, 24, and 25 are unemployed? Or like the fourth options. Richie James,
just a second ago.
Cole Hardman, Sky Moore, Hollywood Brown is employed, but barely. I mean, even the guys who were on the team, like Rasheed didn't even play with him last year, so let's count him out. Xavier Worthy was running 2 routes. Like, Cyrus Allen wasn't on a team. Taekwon, he had Taekwon. There you go. He's employed and was on a team. Like, it's not even, they're either unemployed or third options. I think this is all a weapons conversation. If Patrick Mahomes genuinely had T. Higgins and Jamar Chase the last 3 years, he'd have put up better numbers than Joe Burrow, or as good, or better numbers than Josh Allen, or as good. And Josh Allen, it's tough because everyone cites his numbers and include all of these like 2-yard rushing touchdowns that I don't think mean anything. They just cite total touchdowns for Allen because Patrick Mahomes in the last 3 years has more passing touchdowns, passing yards per game, all of it. Less interceptions, less turnovers.
Yeah, I think Mahomes is guilty of his own success, right? I mean, that's what's happened too with some of this, that the bar has gotten so high because of
that's fair.
How unbelievable the first 7 years were, 8 years really, of his NFL career. And the great ones, in fairness, are always judged at a much higher standard than others. That's part of the deal. That's
I'm glad he set that standard.
That's how this works. But I just don't think, let's say he's 30 now, 31 at the end of the year, whatever. Or actually, doesn't he turn 31 next month?
Yeah.
You have a song ready again, an updated version?
Happy birthday. In fairness, I think
an updated version.
I think I'd said he won a Super Bowl and an MVP.
He got updated.
He's done quite a
point
few
being,
more since that.
Fast forward 7 years from now when he's 38 years old or whatever, I just don't believe that Patrick Mahomes is going to never have a season where he is either the MVP again or second in MVP voting again, as in he's even consistently at that level. I just find that hard to believe. I'm not saying he's going to win 3 more MVPs, but I just don't believe that he's not going to be in the MVP conversation for the next 7 years. Get out of here. That's just ridiculous. He might be in the MVP conversation this year.
I think Colin answered the question by the way that he kind of described it. He talked about how he had the bookend tackles when he first came into the league that were all pros. He talked about Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, obviously an A receiver core, both in their primes. And since then, the run game hasn't been good. Since then, the wide receiver room got worse. Since then, I think Andy Reid, you could question over the course of how they've looked, because I think that's part of his main conversation is for the same reasons that we've said. Like when you actually look at the numbers, hey, Pat actually has played pretty good. When you watch the offensive product on the field over the last 2 years, you want to throw up because it looks terrible. It's gross. It's disgusting. It looks like it's the hardest thing on the face of the planet to accomplish is getting a touchdown. I think that's part of why this correlated with the roster is why Colin Cowherd has this take, but I definitely think it's more of the roster and maybe even a little bit of Andy Reid not being able to adjust and figure it out. It's not Patrick Mahomes as much as it is those outside things, which is why we'll see what happens this year. But if they somehow fall apart again or they don't make it or they lose in the first round, questions are going to be asked about Brett Veach, that wide receiver room, Andy Reid. I don't think anything, unless Patrick Mahomes somehow plays worse, which I would doubt. I think he'll just play the same as he kind of has been, which is top 5, top 3, best quarterback in football once again this year. But the results will determine, I think, where we see the national viewership on Patrick Mahomes after this season is over with.
I'll just remind people, Tom Brady, who is basically who we compare him to, right? Tom Brady was MVP at age 40. He finished second MVP at age 39. He finished second as an MVP at age 38. He obviously won a Super Bowl, as we all know, late in his career against Kansas City with Tampa. When he was in his 40s. Like this idea, though, that, and I agree with you, Drew, on the roster part, but like if people are saying Mahomes, we've seen the best because of just like him and his performance, I just call BS on that. I think there's at least another MVP along the road here for him, if not
maybe
2.
a couple.
Yeah,
and Super Bowl appearances and wins. I think it has just been grossly overstated, the decline. Like I just think that you just don't. Because, and I think it's something like Patrick Mahomes lulled you into a sense of he could do superhuman things at any one moment, and that was it. And the other part about those 3 seasons are name any other quarterback in those 3 seasons who went to 2 Super Bowls and won one.
It's just him.
But I don't think that's not what Colin Cowherd is looking at. The overall, he's not looking at the team deal. He's looking at the way Patrick Mahomes has looked. I think part of why he hasn't looked as good, just from a visual standpoint of why the offense hasn't looked as good, is not because of Patrick Mahomes. It's because of the wide receiver room. It's because of no run game. It's because Andy Reid, we're questioning if he can adjust and make changes. It's not like Patrick Mahomes winning in that stage does not materialize to anything. Otherwise, you can have the same conversation about Sam Darnold. Like I think it's different. Take the Super Bowls and the success away from it. It's them looking at the individual statistics, which is what we do for everything. Has Patrick Mahomes played like an MVP? No, he hasn't.
The quarterback,
but I don't think it's Patrick Mahomes' fault. I think it's more of his surroundings that are putting him in that position to be viewed as Colin Cowherd is viewing him, or as everybody else is saying Josh Allen is better, Stafford is better, Lamar Jackson is better, and all those other things.
What's crazy, though, is that those guys, the ones you're mentioning, Burrow, Stafford, Lamar, they've just had a single individual season amongst those three in which they played like an MVP. Not three straight. None of them have put together three straight, not a single one of them, because Mahomes is not that far off on yards per game, touchdowns per game, any of those things during that time. They're all in the same thing. They've just had one individual season that equaled those numbers that allowed them to be in that category. And I would say, of the season in which you were an MVP candidate, Mahomes just winning the Super Bowl matches that or cancels it out. And it's just like weird, because you're right, Drew. In none of the 3 seasons has he played like an MVP candidate. But in those 3 seasons, he has consistently, every single one of those years, played like a top 5 quarterback. And in 2 of those years won the Super Bowl. So, like, I think when they say hasn't played like an MVP candidate, that would imply he's playing like C.J. Stroud out here. And it's like, no. He's just playing like the 4th best quarterback during that time instead of the 1st best, the MVP winner. But meanwhile, the continued playoff success and all that other stuff didn't just go away. I think it's easier to have that conversation. Had they just made the playoffs and lost in the divisional round, I'm not even sure someone would be trying to really make this argument. I think it's easier goal because they had such a bad season last year. Now people really wonder if it's like,
Yeah, he had a bad season. They had a bad 100%. This is the time for them to dunk on it in a way where they've already talked about Burrow. They've already talked about, they haven't talked about Lamar as much. But from the standpoint of you're comparing, this is not a comparison, though, to, you're not comparing Patrick Mahomes to Joe Burrow or Josh Allen in this conversation. You're comparing Patrick Mahomes to Patrick Mahomes. And I think that, going back to what you guys had said before, when you see what he did 5 or 6 years ago compared to having like 1,500 yards less than that season, 1,000 yards less than that season, a completion percentage that was lower than C.J. Stroud last year and Daniel Jones, you're looking at those things and thinking, why is that? Is it Pat, or is it more of the roster? And when you take time to think about it, the way that you guys are around this team all the time, I've been here for 3 years, everybody watches it, it's definitely the roster more so than it is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, it's interesting. And look, that comes back to Brett Veach, and he's got Andy Reid.
100%. Yeah.
Making sure
and
they take
Mahomes
advantage
does
of
need
it.
to play better, right? Like there are elements of his game that
Definitely.
I think did get a little sloppy. The footwork, he's talked about it. That's an area he has to improve. I'm just saying, like, this notion that now he's just a dude in the league is hilarious. That's what some people.
That concept is weird.
That's what some people nationally are saying. All right, thinking about the way to make this team better, guys, would be if special teams was more explosive. Right, that would help. Not only would it be a shorter field, but also you could use some juice from that particular group. And did not know it was this long of a period of time between touchdowns. But Price Carter put out the numbers yesterday. He did some research on the last time every team generated a special teams touchdown. And I understand it's not just about scoring a touchdown on special teams. Good returns, good coverage, all of it. Obviously making your kicks, all that. However, it's pretty telling when only one team has gone a longer period of time between special teams touchdowns than the Chiefs. That one team is not a team you want to be in the same company of. That is the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders have not had a special teams touchdown since 2018. The Chiefs have not had one since COVID, 2020. Ugh. Then after that, there's even a 2-year gap before you get to the next team. That would be the Vikings. The Chargers in their own division also 2023, not great, but still. The Chiefs have the second longest drought of special teams touchdowns in the National Football League. And then you go a step further, even if you want to say, well, touchdowns are not everything. What about return yardage and whatever? Price Carter even went further than just the touchdown
They had the
numbers.
worst starting field position of anyone in the league last year, DVOA-wise, which is just an efficiency metric that I will just tell you, all 32 teams in the NFL widely respect, and total DVOA has been an incredible indicator of future Super Bowl winners and actual Super Bowl contenders. They've been league average. Dave Toub has lost his fastball. He doesn't have the touch anymore. I think he had a plan for some of the changes in the kick return, and his plan stunk. And he couldn't have known necessarily it was going to work or didn't work, but he didn't adjust when it didn't, and he got burned. And maybe some of his problem is what Drew just talked about with Mahomes. Maybe some of it is just talent. One more, look, it should have been after last year, but one more year like this, where every holding penalty just sets the offense back. They can't get any kind of, they can't get a single kick return touchdown. They can't generate anything. Well, then Tobe's got to go. He's got to have the hottest seat out of any person on the entire Chiefs coaching staff. It used to be the old wide receiver coach. Now it's him. Like, he's got to have the single hottest seat, doesn't he? It's been 4 straight years of league average play, and I don't want to make it seem like that's always been the case. If you go back through in the history goal, DVOA-wise and otherwise, Dave Tobe rated out as one of the best special teams coordinators in the league for years. But I said this earlier, and I mean it. You can lose that. Bob Sutton, in his first 3 years in Kansas City, I know that we all hate Bob Sutton by the end of it, and if D Ford had not gone off sides, I think Bob Sutton had been employed another year, and they wouldn't even have brought in Spags. Do you know what Bob Sutton's defense is ranked the first 3 years he was in Kansas City?
Oh, he's very good.
3rd, 5th, and 3rd. He had 5 defenses in the NFL's first 3 years. But then the next 2, he was bad, and he had Justin Houston trying to guard Antonio Brown in a playoff game, and they capped, and you got to let it go. But Tobe has been given 4 years of mediocrity. He hasn't had a kick return touchdown in 6. I'd say, that's a key part of the job, is occasionally accidentally getting your team 6 points on there, run into one. The only team is the Raiders' goal. That's pretty bad.
At least I'm being, what would you say they were earlier? Dead last in average starting field position?
Last year.
You're hurting your quarterback.
Yeah, you're making, and look,
making it harder.
Chiefs' offense per drive was better than anybody, pretty much in the NFL last year. Well, no wonder they had to come from the 15-yard line every time just to get down there and get 3 points. Seems like gold, and I don't want to say for sure that if you could start, maybe hypothetically on occasion, 10 yards further, then it might be easier to get a field goal or a touchdown, especially if Butker's going to make it from 70.
And with the way these kickoff rules are, we see the returns just they're
scheme's bad
on a regular basis. The teams are starting beyond the 25.
Yeah, and I get it. The rules have changed over the years, but some of these other teams have figured it out. You know what I mean? The rules are different than they were in 2020. But
at this point, just copy their plan. I'm not you thought you could be the innovator, and I thought he would be because he's got a good long history of it. He had the wrong plan. Everyone else had a better scheme, better system, way to stop Jack Cochran from holding, whatever it is. Penalties-wise, by the way, they're more like 10, 11 on average over the last 3 years. They're not worst half in the league. But there's just, this not all penalties are created equal. He, or the special teams unit, not Tobe in particular, they seem to have a real knack for it at the worst possible time the last 2 years. It's not that they're the most penalized. It's that they're penalized in the worst possible moment, And that part, it's like every time they got a big return, here comes the hold. They were incapable of getting a big return without Jack Cochran or somebody else, Shamari Connor, somebody, ripping a guy down by his jersey.
I don't think, I agree with this texter. If they didn't move on from Dave Tobe after last year, then I don't think they're moving on from him unless the entire staff, as in Andy Reid retires whenever that day is. I get what you're saying about Bob Sutton. Eventually they did. I get the sense if it wasn't bad enough last year, though, I don't think Dave Tobe is getting axed after this year. Last year would have been the year to do it.
Yeah.
Hopefully the special teams just improves and then nobody's having an issue with it, right? But
we get halfway through the season and they're still starting every drive at the 18-yard line and Jack Cochran's got 78 more holds or whatever. We're going to have a problem with the setup. And I will say, I still think he needs to drop this Mansour Delane thing. Just a small little note. Today at the press conference, he's like, oh, I love that gunner step. They made him use a preseason snap in special teams. And he's like, I don't think I'll get my hands on him, but I wish I could. No, Dave, no. Stay away from the 6th overall pick.
He did. He acknowledged. He acknowledged
that. He said if given free run, he would make Mansour Delane play special teams.
Yeah, that's
insane.
Because his job is to put the best players on his unit. I actually have no issue with that answer.
His job is to win.
No, his job is he's a special teams coordinator. His job is to put the best players on special teams.
No.
He doesn't need to play special teams, but I have no problem with Dave Tobe saying, I wish he would play for my special teams unit. I have no issue with that, but Andy Reid should never allow that to happen.
It makes you just shiver hearing him say that, honestly.
Yeah. Mansour Delane has no business playing special teams, but I don't have an issue with the coach saying, I would love the best players to play for my special teams unit. I don't have an issue with that if you're a special teams coordinator.
On occasion, though, I just don't understand why we just don't let logic. Andy should have never let that snap even happen. He doesn't need to run a single gunner snap. He missed all of training camp due to an injury. He doesn't need to be out here running special teams. You got to put your foot down and be like, I'm sorry that you want to make a point, Dave, and prove that everybody does a special team snap. Not him.
Got the wrong coaching staff for that. They're as old school as they are in the National Football League. It's the wrong staff to think that those are the type of decisions that are being made. You know
I'm
that.
saying put your foot down on that one.
Because
crazy.
If he isn't looking one way and Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce's into somebody and his shoulder is hurt again, and you did it on special teams.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't disagree with you guys. I just think in general, this is how this entire staff has operated for years.
Yeah,
they evaluate differently. They're old school. The playing him is way worse than the comment. I don't have an issue with his comment today. Him just saying, hey, I want one of the best players on our team playing for special teams. Like, I have no issue with that on its own. The issue is that he would do it if Andy didn't stop him.
My problem is that, like, he's mentioning it too much. I'm starting to turn into Will Smith. It's like, keep his name out of your mouth. I don't need Montour Delane's name mentioned is a part of your unit.
Keep my DB's name out your mouth.
These two things do not need to connect.
All right.
They do not need to connect in any particular way. I don't need them to.
Up next, we'll get to what's trending. Plus, you'll hear our interview with JJ Piccolo, the Royals general manager, and I'm sure Drew will bring us back with some more Dolly Parton music. If you missed the news, the unfortunate news in the last half hour, Dolly Parton passing away at the age of 80.
This is Cody and Gold on Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil. One simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to Metamucil.com for more details.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan, and I'm here with Rob Seid at Rob Seid Ford. Rob, I smell a grill. What's cooking?
Kevin, the grills are fired up, and so are the deals. Right now at Rob Seid Ford, it's the Ford Employee Pricing Sales Event with the best deals we've had in the past 12 months.
Now that's saying something. What are we talking?
Employee pricing on virtually every new Ford on our lot, plus even more dealer discounts on top.
So how hot do these deals get?
Up to $17,500 off brand new F-150s at Rob Seid Ford, plus huge savings on Expedition, Explorer, Bronco Sport, Bronco, and more.
Wow, that's 5 alarm hot.
Exactly, and unlike Kevin's Burgers, these deals are coming out juicy.
All right, I walked into that one.
Shop Rob Seid Ford, Kansas City's top-rated Ford store on Google. 4.8 stars and nearly 3,500 reviews.
Rob Seid Ford, 135th and State Line, or robseid.com.
Buy right, Rob Seid.
Men, when addressing the problem of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation because every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and at our practices, we offer the full range of ED treatment protocols and can even combine therapies to help make those intimate moments special both for you and your partner. At Heartland Men's Health, we take great pride in providing excellent care and treatment options for ED. Our medical providers specialize in men's sexual health and understand that no 2 cases are alike, which means you'll get the right treatment for you based on sound medical evaluation and appropriate applications of medical therapies. Plus, we offer treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most men, you'll get your sex life back. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
What to do today? There's boating,
fishing.
At Jackson County Parks Plus
golfing,
Rec,
sailing, skiing, picnicking.
there are countless ways to make your day.
Canoeing, hiking, biking.
And you just
swimming.
found your spot right here.
Camping. Yeah, camping. I'll camp at Lake Jacomo or Longview Lake or maybe Blue Springs Lake. Hit the beach at Longview Lake. Oh, they're all so close to
Jackson County Parks Plus Rec. Miles of smiles, minutes away. Learn more at makeyourdayhere.com.
And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog!
Customize! Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Oh, hey, Sarah. Did you hear my daughter Katie got Camper of the Week?
That's a big deal.
We got a big deal too, right, Mom?
Honey, shh.
What's that?
Okay, that Hyundai Santa Fe, I only paid...
Nice.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days, or 1.9% APR for 72 months on the Hyundai Tucson, Tucson Plug-in Hybrid, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offers end September 8th. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
When it's time for a new water heater, trust the team that's been serving Kansas City for 75 years. For a limited time, buy a water heater and get a water filter 50% off. Schedule today at AnthonyPHCE.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Your smile is like a breath of spring. Your voice is soft like summer rain. And I cannot compete with you, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep, and there's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. And I can easily understand how you could easily take my man, but you don't know what he means to me, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging
Of course, the sad news in the last 40 minutes or so, Dolly Parton passing away at the age of 80. Her nephew put out an official statement on behalf of the family on her official Twitter account. She actually just had an interview with People magazine, what turned out to be her final interview on Friday, opening up about some of her health challenges, said, quote, dealing with some health issues. It's not like I haven't been through hard times with my health before, and unfortunately 4 days later she would pass away at the age of 80.
Yeah, really, really, really awful news. Obviously, I mean, people running the numbers. She's done a lot of great things for a lot of people. Her book program gave away 332 million books since it was started over 30 years ago. It's like she's done a lot of good for a lot of people, created a lot of music that people will remember for a very, very, very long time. An all-time legend, no doubt about it. Obviously, very, very sad news that Dolly Parton passed away today at the age of 80.
That, of course, number one on what's trending. Just some other notable news around, less important, obviously, but other news going on today. The Royals back in action tonight. They are in Toronto. They're trying to make it in a 9-game winning streak. The game at 6:07 right here on 96.5. The Fan. Vern's On Deck show is at 5 o'clock. And then the other big item in the sports world on the college front, Cody. The Big Ten is set to pass a rule that does not allow players to return from the NFL and play for a Big Ten school. Seems like common sense, but that was not happening with LSU and the SEC. But the Big Ten has done this. The Big 12 reportedly is right behind them. The ACC and Group of Five schools.
Yeah, obviously big news on the Big Ten front, and they've already passed it. Conversations apparently started this weekend, and then just already working on it. Other suits or other conferences should follow suit and likely will, I think, in some there. Next up on What's Trending, we'll talk more about it tomorrow, but at least 1 in 4 NFL players who died between 2016 and 2021 had CTE, according to a new study. The study published Tuesday by the British Medical Journal focused on how common CTE might be amongst NFL players. Again, maybe a longer conversation tomorrow, but certainly not good news for the NFL for a variety of reasons. The fact that a quarter of all those studied had the brain degenerative disease.
That is a jarring stat.
Yes.
And yes, it's not obviously what the NFL wants to see. Selfishly, not only is it concerning because they should be doing whatever they can to prevent this from happening, but also from a PR perspective, that's their, other than a gambling scandal.
As bad as it gets.
Yeah, this is worse. Obviously, we're talking about, in this case, people losing their life, but you get the point from a PR perspective. Those are the two worst things that can happen to the NFL. Lastly, on What's Trending away from sports, Port KC Commission approved a 30-year tax incentive plan on Monday for a $1.3 billion redevelopment of course, one of the staples in the Kansas City area, the Country Club Plaza.
What's funny is that's more money than the city's giving the Royals. Now, the Royals are getting more money between that and the state. That's more money than the Royals are getting. So if you've got a problem with the city council just handing out, poor KC, they figured out that loophole and decided to start handing out cash, apparently.
Yeah, that's a ton of money. Now, I think, we all love the plaza, but that is a hefty check to redesign or redevelop the Country Club Plaza. All right, earlier today, the general manager and president of baseball ops for the Royals, JJ Piccolo, joined us. We started our conversation just asking him, hey, what has changed? What are you noticing during this 8-game winning streak the club is on?
I think for the most part, we've got a lineup together that resembles more of what our opening day lineup looked like. So I think that's part of it. And then, of course, we lost Mike Kell not long after that. But the biggest difference, I think, is clearly the bullpen. We've got some leads late in the game that we're able to hold on to and finish the game off, a couple tight ones. And it's been good to see some new faces respond in positive ways. And it's something to build on. So it's a nice 8-game streak, and hopefully we can keep it going.
I'm sure you guys have run the numbers on some of this too. Like if you go back, and I understand you understand some of the pitfalls that happened this season, but could it be as simple as if the bullpen had just been closer to what maybe the career numbers for some of these guys had suggest, or you just had made different decisions in that department, that could have put you in the position to be in a playoff, certainly in the hunt, right, JJ? If certainly the bullpen had just been better.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. We have to click on all cylinders. It's got to be, the offense, the defense, the pitching, both starting and relieving. And, we weren't getting it done early. And then the performance and the injuries just kind of came together. And it was kind of an avalanche of tough things happening. But, you go back to the early season optimism. That's the reason there was optimism. We thought we had a good rotation. We thought we had a bullpen that we could count on in a lineup that was going to score some runs. And, clearly that hasn't happened and didn't happen often early in the season. So, yeah, you can point to that and some other things as well.
I think we were talking a little bit about Q as it relates to this. How much does it matter to you? You've been around, good teams, bad teams. You've been around baseball a long time. When a team can give up or just give up on a manager or just feel like it's not going anywhere. A streak like this tell you anything about the team or post All-Star break, their ability to keep fighting for the same guy?
Yeah, no, I think that's really important. We went through a similar thing a couple of years ago, and, that was the message that Q delivered to the team, and we played fairly well in August and September of that year. And, we're still playing for, every one of these games means something to us. These are guys' careers. They don't go into a game thinking about what the team record is. They go into a game thinking about how do I beat that pitcher, or if they're a pitcher, how do I beat their lineup. So the preparation's the same. Obviously morale can take a hit, so it takes a little bit of extra work on our staff's part to be positive and keep reminding them that, hey, we're playing for something. Regardless of what the record is, we're playing for something. Tonight's game is really important. Once you get done tonight, you move on to the next game. And tomorrow night's game is really important. So I think the staff has done a good job. I think the players have done a good job. As tough as this year has been, not one time have I walked through that clubhouse feeling like, man, this group is defeated. You don't get that feeling from our guys. And when you go on a little streak like this, I think it's evidence that indeed is the case.
When you're talking about JJ Piccolo here on 96.5 The Fan, when you look at the American League this year, and I know we've had you on throughout the entire season, we've talked about some of the decisions, some of the injuries throughout the entire year, but when you look at the standings right now and you see where the AL is at, does that add any more of the frustration to a season when you see that the AL was down this year and that the win total to get in the dance this year, it doesn't look like it's going to be as high as it typically is?
Yeah, no, it definitely is more frustrating. You still want to be a good team. You still want to win 90 games. And, what this year has given teams is a little bit of grace. You might not win 90, but you're going to be in the playoffs. So to have a year like we're going through this year, it does add a little bit of frustration to it. But, I think in the end, our frustration is more about, what could we have done differently this year? How do we get better prepared for next season? And we got to focus on that, because even if you're a 500 team that makes the playoffs, you're not a championship caliber team just yet. And the goal is to be a championship caliber team. And we still got some work to do to get to that point.
JJ, I want to ask you about a guy who's been white hot, I think, since the last time we spoke to you. That's Noah Cameron, who over his last 6 starts has a 105 earned run average. He started calling his own pitches, of course, is when seemingly it all turned around. Are you guys thinking about the ceiling with him differently than you have before? Are you looking at him differently as far as maybe where he belongs in the rotation in the future? Just how are you viewing this run from Noah Cameron?
Well, I think it's just security that he is a major league pitcher. There was a stretch in there where he was struggling some, and guys can waver, and what Noah did was the bend but don't break attitude. I mean, he didn't break. He kept going. He made some adjustments. The big one was calling his own game. He felt comfortable enough at this point in his career that he wanted it all to fall on his shoulders. I don't want to, go with somebody else's opinion. I trust myself, and he's taken it to another level. So I think just the security that we have somebody that we can count on in our rotation for the future is great for us, because young starting pitching is hard to come by. And when you get a guy now who will go into his 3rd year with the track record that he's got, that's a great thing for us. And Noah deserves a lot of credit to not break this year and to keep pushing and actually improve. So it's great to see.
Were there other things besides calling his own pitches you think helped turn it around for him?
Well, it's command. I mean, that's the big thing for any starting pitcher. But for Noah during that stretch, his pitch counts were getting entirely too high. He struggled to get through 5 innings. It was 100 pitches through 5 innings. That's command. So I think with taking on the accountability of calling pitches, there might be a little more conviction in what he's throwing and a little more purpose, and that maybe helped his command. I'm being a kind of a junior psychologist there, but I think there is something to that. But the command has been really what's let's look at the complete game there on the West Coast. I mean, he goes complete game on 115 pitches. He was throwing over 100 pitches to get through 5 innings. That's a significant difference in what he was doing earlier this year. So credit goes to him. He did a good job in getting himself prepared and to go on this nice run, which is great to see.
We're talking to JJ Piccolo here on 96.5 The Fan. Something that we've discussed over the last couple weeks and month or so, and I think fans have wondered, is looking at Jack Caglione when he plays right field, when he plays first base, and some of the numbers. Is there a correlation to, is he playing freer when he's at first? Is it just a coincidence that he's also just improved as a hitter? I know we're talking small sample sizes, but I'm sure you guys are well aware of the different numbers at the plate when he's playing first compared to the outfield.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Small sample size. I mean, he does like playing first base, but he's adapted to right field really, really well. So I really think it's more coincidence than anything. Maybe if that trend holds up over a number of years, there's something to it. But right now, I think it's just coincidence. And plus, he's just developing as a hitter. He's getting better. With every at-bat, every night that goes by, he's that much better. So, he's playing first base more the latter part of his career. As short as it's been the latter part of his career. And that experience, I think, is evident in the at-bats that he's taken now. He just happens to be playing first base here while Vinny was out.
When you look at, I guess, the lineup as a whole with Vinny in there. Like, let's say go back to when Michael Garcia before he had head back to the injured list. How close do you think that lineup was to 2027's opening day lineup? Let's say a righty's on the mound, Carter Jensen in the leadoff spot, Cags hitting third, Vinny fifth. Like, how close do you think that those players are the guys you run with next season?
Yeah, I think they're young, controllable, good players. I mean, that's what a team like us needs to have, and the fact that we have really 7 or 8 guys that are not approaching free agency that we think very highly of is a good thing for us. How the lineup's constructed, that's always an evolving thing.
Sure.
But at least as we said here today against righties, yeah, you may see exactly what you're seeing now. Against lefties, you may see it flipped up a little bit. But, it's a good core. The 4 guys we talked about going into the year with Cags and Jensen, sort of the unknowns of how they were going to respond. Michael Massey's bounced back and had a great year. Nick Lofton's done really well. So when you add all those things together, it's a pretty good core. It's a really good nucleus. What we need to do is go out and be consistent and show that it's a good core. It's one thing to talk about it and look at it on paper and make projections, but bottom line is we got to go out and play well and win baseball games, and that's how you know that you have the right core. And hopefully we get to do that in 27.
Before we let you get out of here, I want to ask about a couple of the young guys in your system right now that I think we briefly mentioned or talked about in person to you, David Shields and, of course, Kendry Churio. Do you think there's any chance of a Double-A move before the end of the season for either of those guys, or you think that that's a next year decision?
I think it's more next year when it comes down to it. I mean, Churio's already made the jump, and this is late in the year. The last thing you need to do to young pitchers challenge them with another level when they've already met the challenge at the current level. We know where they're going to be to start the year next year, so I don't know what you really get out of a couple starts at the Double-A level. I think it's very different. When we used to have the expanded roster, the truly expanded rosters in September to get major league starts, that's a little different than just jumping to another level in the minor league. So, really happy with what they're doing. The best thing we could do is put them in a position to go into the offseason 100% healthy, and look forward to what they do next year. Because once you get to the Double-A level, you're really, a phone call away from being in major leagues, and you don't want to put a lot on them as young players. But given their ages and where they're at already, it's exciting that they're going to be 2 young starters at the Double-A level, which, again, is very close to the major league. So it's exciting for our organization.
I'm assuming those are 2 of the youngest guys you'd have in Double-A if they both start their next season?
Yeah, they will be. They're 2 of the youngest guys in High A. I think the average age in High A is about 23 and a half years old. So, you look at their ages right now, they're significantly younger than their competition. So it makes it even better, more special what they're doing right now. And, just want them to finish strong.
So that was J.J. Piccolo on the Golden Oak Lending phone line earlier today, talking about this run that they're on right now. But we also asked him about some of the younger pieces that are, sounds like not going to get the bump up to Double-A this year. And he gave the reason for that it's not like, you're getting the major league experience. If it was back in the day where you had major expansion of the rosters, maybe you'd consider throwing a start,
sure,
getting some experience that way. That's not really in the cards. But they will both be in Double-A whenever the season starts next year for baseball.
Look, it is interesting because once they're in Double-A, if Kendry Churio goes to Double-A next year to start, I don't want to be clear, after his first start in A-ball, high A-ball this year, he's posted a 106 earned run average and is getting a strikeout per inning. So he has been, he has ruled during that time. So we'll see which happens.
You guys going to go to Springfield to watch him pitch?
Maybe. I mean,
well,
maybe not Springfield, but somewhere.
Be if they're playing the Cardinals at that time. But
see if we can find a place that has good wings.
It's tough. It's tough to.
I'm just saying, there's places that could have good food down there. We could try that. It's tough for what?
I think it's tough for pitchers though, because for hitter we can map out 3 weeks in advance and they're going to be in the lineup.
Right.
It's tough. It's a little dicey trying to map out a pitcher's start.
If Shields and Churio are both in Double-A to start the year, though, we might be able to negotiate because we'd have
to catch one of them at least.
We'd have a much better chance of catching one. Something to keep an eye out on. Reporters out in Cincinnati, Jamar Chase had landed awkwardly after a deep route.
Ooh.
Came up grabbing his left knee at practice. He's walking off under his own power. And back to the sideline with trainers, but certainly looked uncomfortable in the way he was walking. Schefter put at least a situation to monitor in Cincinnati. Look, these injuries sometimes just go the way of Genty, like he's got a sore ankle and
hopefully that's
whatever.
just hopefully.
I'm just pointing out that was at least a part of their Chiefs. Kenneth Walker's not practicing today either, so it's like Sometimes injuries are minor, sometimes injuries are major. We don't know, but he does look awkward getting up. There's video of it.
Yeah, that makes me worried. Just
landed pretty hard on his knee.
I was thinking about last week, I think even. Man, Jamar Chase has been really durable over the course of his career. You can rely on him.
He has been. You know, we talk about like he's
very,
been
very reliable. I think
T. Higgins was the guy who had the injury trouble.
T's been having a hamstring and a concussion problem. That's been the issues with him. But yeah, obviously, I mean, even if obviously missing anybody in general is not good, but when it's the best wide receiver in football, that's.
I think you'd worry. Just
he
he could have just banged it hard against the ground.
Yeah.
I think that,
and like you said, he got up. It's okay.
Yeah, he got up. He walked under his own power. That could be a number of things. You should be more worried if it was the Wednesday before they're getting ready to face the Chiefs in December, and both teams have 10 wins, for a practice. But this is not one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, just pointing out something we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on whatever the random injury is for Ken Walker, and if it's something that's long term. We're going to start hearing from the Chiefs a lot less over the next couple of weeks, just because they're not going to be. They'll have regular practice and media availability, but not to the same effect as they've been having in training camp. So just got to keep
Do we get a when will they talk then? They talk Friday.
They'll talk Wednesday, and then Andy will talk in post game after the game. But when they'll talk next week, I don't know yet. Ooh, Drew, I just watched the clip. The only thing that's concerning about Jamar Chase is
I haven't seen the clip. So
he steps. I'll just say
it's like non-contact.
It doesn't look like he hits his leg and then his leg hurts. His leg bend.
It's like it gives out a little bit.
It bends a little weird. Like his body gets contorted a little bit weird, and then you can see where his like maybe not hyperextends, but like stiffens up a little bit on him.
Yeah, for sure.
As he's going to the ground. So, I mean, definitely worth keeping an eye on.
Hopefully,
I'll
it's
send
just
you guys
a
clip
strain
if you want to see it. Or hopefully it's nothing.
Yeah.
I don't like watching players get hurt, by the way. I'm definitely not the guy who, you know, that is like, I saw people be like, oh, fight, I hate that player. I'm like, I can hate.
Yeah, I can't stand,
like Jamar Chase. I don't want him to get hurt.
Yeah, I can't stand Cincinnati, or Jamar Chase. But yeah, it's not like you want somebody to tear their ACL. That's crazy.
It's way more fun in the NFL if you get like a full, season of it. Like if you get a full season of everybody, the NFL's.
It does make me a little leery just knowing that they have to start Tampa and then Houston. The first 2 games of the year.
That's a tough defensive line to front for an offensive line that I still don't fully trust there in Cincinnati.
Yep.
You wouldn't love it if you were missing one of your stars. Or, is T. Higgins been healthy this training camp?
So far?
T's been very healthy.
He's knocking on wood over there.
He was healthy last year, too.
Also, good news that Colby Young has been great in camp. Dante Myers has been great in camp. But, again, neither of them.
Is that their version of, like, Cyrus Allen?
Yeah, Dante Myers is – Colby Young was their 4th-round pick. He's looked very good. He plays like more like T. Higgins. Dante Myers is the guy that
he's already 20. Dante Myers, 26 years old. He played in the CFL. He played in the CFL.
His story is very cool. Joe Burrow called him, see if he can throw. He drove from Atlanta overnight
I saw that clip,
at 2 a.m. or whatever it was and got there to throw them. So that's very cool. But yeah, none of them combined are obviously Jamar Chase. So somebody says Cincinnati's done for this. Hey, look, if Jamar is out for the first couple weeks, even better. We get to see Joe Burrow without Jamar, so y'all can shut up about my quarterback. I cannot wait.
Did you just say even better for the Bengals if Jamar Chase is out?
I think he just thinks
the Joe Burrow can't play without Jamar Chase. Oh, I can't wait.
If anything, I think it'll be poor Joey. He doesn't have Jamar now. Oh my gosh, it's always so tough for him. That would be the narrative.
That's the way that people feel about Josh Allen. Unfortunately,
I think that happens with Burrow.
That's the Josh Allen narrative.
Poor Joe Burrow. His defense just doesn't help him out.
I'm ready for this defense to be top 15.
Has Joe Burrow ever played without Jamar Chase?
Yes, his numbers without Jamar and T are not as good as with one of them missing. But
fine, that makes sense.
But with
I would expect that.
I think when Jamar is out when Jamar is out, it's as good as it is when Jamar plays, and with T out, it's as good as when they're both playing. When they're both out, obviously, it's very difficult, as it would be for anybody.
Remember, next week we'll do our